Hi guys, and welcome to Higurashi When They Cry. So this is a game that I actually haven't played. I've seen the anime a long time ago, back in 2009 or something. I don't know, 10 years ago just about. And I've seen the media on it, like some of the manga, but I've never actually played the game. So I managed to get a copy of the manga gamer version. No, wait, no, no. Yes, the hard copy, and then I was able to patch it. So there's going to be some voices. It's going to be kind of like the Switch version. So we're going to jump right in, and hopefully it is as good as people were saying it is. Um, yeah, I guess so. I don't know. We're going to watch this opening. I haven't tested this yet, so I don't know. I hope the mod's working. I don't expect too many people to be watching me play this since it's an empty category. But well, I guess that was the opening. Whatever. Um, what's this config? Oh, this is I was playing with it earlier. So I can change the sprites, all that stuff. Hide user interface. If I want to play it like a open hood. I was making the game full screen and all that. So we're just gonna jump right in, and hopefully it's not that bad. After Doki Doki Literature Club, I just had to play another anime game. I didn't get fulfilled. Onikakushi, opening. Demon Away chapter. Welcome to the world of Higurashi when they cry. Higurashi, sorry, when they cry. The Onikakushi arc will be the opening, inviting you to this world. Sit back, relax, and enjoy life in Hinamizawa to its fullest. The difficulty for this chapter is extremely high, but hopefully you will enjoy the reward. What do you mean difficulty? It's a visual novel, isn't it? I'm not going to be like running around, am I? What do you mean by difficulty? Well, that was creepy. This is a horror game, by the way, guys. Please do not deplore yourself, even if this world does not forgive you. I will not forgive you. Please do not deplore yourself, even if you do not forgive the world, I will forgive you. So please tell me, what will it take for you to forgive me? Oh, that's a quote from somebody. This is a work of fiction. Any resemblance to actual persons or organizations is entirely coincidental. 1983 AD. Early summer of the 58th of the show. Well, that was nasty. Went too quick for me. So, there was an incident when this game came out that a police officer was hacked to death by his daughter. Um, so I think that's why they have that disclaimer. I could be wrong, though. I just remember hearing about it. If I was going to be ripped apart anyways, having my body ripped apart would have been far better. I trusted her. No, I still trust her. Even in this very moment, I trust her. But I'm starting to realize I only wanted to trust her because I refused to accept the truth. It was as if I was trying to convince myself, in such a silly, sobbing voice. And those tears making a mess on my face. That mechanical, repetitious sound finally stilled, and everything went silent. Only, only the cry of the cicadas remained, annoyingly loud. And yet, I felt as if I could still hear her voice. But that's not possible. She's no longer speaking. The only one crying is me. She never cried. Even when she repeated those words over and over again, she never expressed any emotion because there was none to show. If she had no tears to shed for me, then I shouldn't need to shed any for her. Then why this pain? My eyes getting moist. Why is this happening? I wanted to believe I hadn't been split apart. That's enough, right? Inside me, an inner voice whispered gently, My spirit had suffered enough, and the countless times I'm wavered over whether I should just throw the battered thing away. I think I skipped a line somewhere in there. No music stores, no restaurants, and no arcades. An ice cream parlor, no chance. The nearest town has some stuff like that, but it's an hour away by bike. But come to think of it, it wasn't really much of a big deal. There were music stores and arcades and ice cream parlors where I used to live, but it wasn't like I ever hung out at any of them. I had lived in the city for 10 years and never once been to an ice cream parlor. I should have gone to one at least once. It's now that I'm starting to regret it a little. Someone is still apologizing. Who is she apologizing to? She's apologizing so much that... So just forgive her already. There's no reason anyone should ever have to need to apologize so much. I started to feel a bit annoyed at whoever was refusing to forgive her. No matter how bad the mistake, there's nothing that can't be forgiven. Oh, you think that? There's no such thing as an irreparable mistake. You just need to be more careful next time. Yeah, right, buddy. She's still apologizing even now. Then has she really done something that can't be fixed? I have no idea what she's done, but if it can't be fixed, then that's all the more reason to forgive her. No matter how much she has apologized, or how much she apologizes, nothing will change. But even so, she keeps apologizing in such a heartbreaking voice. Hey you, the one she's apologizing to. Why don't you just go ahead and forgive her? She's apologizing in such a pathetic voice. Okay, so there's actually voice acting. I forgot about that. I will not. Well, should I read them? I'll narrate anything that's not spoken, so you guys can read the rest. I was finally aroused from my nap by my father's prodding. It seemed the train had reached its final stop. We'd spent hours riding everything from the bullet train to the local routes. It was hard to believe that the landscape beyond the window and the city was in a half a day ago in the same country. When we're in the same country. No, that they had even been in the same area. From there, we take a car deeper into the mountains. Allergies. Ooh, I didn't take my pills. I don't know where they are. Maybe I'm out. Past where the dense forest encroaches on the mountain road suddenly opened up. Wow, that's an old-ass freaking village. It looks like it's stuck in the Meiji era. This is where I live now. If I butcher any Japanese words, it's been years since I've pronounced them, so... This is where I live now. Hinamizawa. So you have to forgive me if I butcher any words I say. That's not in English. Even though we were approaching summer, the morning air still had a frigid bite. Though in exchange you could fill your lungs up with crisp, clean air. Flipping the window open, I was greeted with the verdant expanse. Nothing but trees. In other words, there's nothing but green. The neighboring house was far away on the other side, so I was probably the only one enjoying that view up in that air. I filled up my lungs with another deep breath. Since I started living in Hinamizawa, I learned that even air had its own taste. Then we got some music. I quickly finished getting ready for school and headed downstairs for breakfast. My mother was the only one there. My father was nowhere to be seen. He was probably up working until early morning. Dad had a rather unconventional job as a painter. It was such a laid-back profession. Get up when you want, sleep when you want, and work when you want. I was so jealous of that easygoing lifestyle. I even wrote for school that I wanted to be a painter when I grew up. Dad was enthusiastic about that. Ecstatic, actually. It was just because it looked so easy. I'd never tell him that, though. Mom had laid out breakfast on the table. Seaweed, pickled vegetables, a raw egg, and grilled salmon. Raw egg? Hard-boiled, maybe? I don't think My mom was such a good cook, it was scary. A perfect, immaculate, ideal breakfast. Unlike my dad, who didn't even know the meaning of the word schedule, my mom never squandered any time or effort. She hummed a little tune as she brought over the miso soup. It seemed like she was in a good mood today.
こっちに引っ越してきてから圭一が早起きになって嬉しいわね。
早起きしないと朝飯を食いそびれるんだよ。
I thought I was being cute, responding with a wisecrack after being praised for being good.
ご飯はいっぱい？それとも半分くらいでいい？
山盛り。
First, I savored the steaming hot rice with the seaweed. After that, I covered it with the egg. Oh, okay. Between bites of rice, I enjoyed the crunch of the pickles. Not bad at all. Excellent as usual. Watching me clean my plate, Mom gave me a warm smile.
こっちに引っ越してきてから圭一が朝食を欠かさないんで嬉しいわね。
I was not a morning person when I lived in the city. I slept right until the last minute before school and I rarely ate breakfast. Boycotting the breakfast Mom made me each morning, that was probably the only way I could protest being forced to attend cram school. I guess that was what you'd call my rebellious phase. I wouldn't so much as look at the breakfast she woke up early every day to make. If I go back in time, I'd slap myself. Mind the time Mom rushed me along with a wide grin.
そろそろレナちゃんと待ち合わせの時間じゃない？急いで急いで。
Mom really seemed to enjoy the fact that her son was going to school with a girl. Reino is one of my classmates. She really loves looking after people coming to meet me every day without fail. The way I look at it, a guy my age walking to school with a girl is just lame. But, well, keeping a classmate waiting for me every day wouldn't be very considerate. Seriously though, how long does Reina wait there for me each morning? Taking one last gulp of miso soup, I raced for the door.
レナちゃんにお漬物ありがとうって伝えてね。
Oh, so Reina gave her pickles. Come to think of it, those pickles weren't store-bought, were they? If I'd known that, I would have savored them a little bit more.
あよ。
Why does her voice sound familiar?
あ、は
Her voice sounds really familiar, like it's from an anime I know. Her cheerful greeting was as fresh as the morning itself.
相変わらず早えな。たまにはのんびり朝寝坊したっていいんだぜ。
お寝坊したら圭一くんを待たせちゃうじゃない。
She's so conscientious and such a good person.
そん時は置いてく。
If that ever happens, I'll just leave you behind. Damn.
圭一くん冷たい。いつも待っててあげてるのに。
サクサク置いてく。
I think he's messing with her.
キリキリ置いてく。
どうして冷たいんだろう。
Toying with her was rather fun because of how quickly her mood changes.
嘘。ちゃんと待ってるよ。
With those words, Reina seemed to relax. Her face flushed bright red.
ありがとう。
レナが来るまでずーっと待ってる。いつまでも。
See, at first glance, you'd think this is a Renai game. Rena turned bright red, steam rising from her head as her brain short-circuited. She's especially weak for this sort of talk. It's quite rare to find someone this fun to tease.
レナはロマンスものの文庫本は読んだことあるか？
ないよ。読んだことない。
From that response, I gathered she was interested in them, but was too embarrassed to actually buy one. I couldn't imagine what would happen if she did read one. She'd probably turn red and pass out.
そうそう、おふくろから伝言。漬物サンキューでしたって。
どういたしまして。どうだった？しょっぱくなかったかな？
They weren't that salty. Actually, they had pretty light flavor to them. It would have been fine to just, well, it would have been fine to be just honest and say they were good, but apparently I couldn't be that forthright.
その前に聞きたい。あの漬物を漬けたのはレナか？レナのお母さんか？
なんで聞くんだろう。しょっぱかった？
Her attitude completely changed. She began to panic frantically.
レナか？レナのお母さんか？
なんで作った人聞くんだろう。太郎。
どっちが作ったかで感想が著しく変わる。
Depending on who made them, my opinion might change drastically. She counted frantically on her fingers, trying to remember the amount of salt she used to pickle them. It wasn't like I was trying to tease her, but I couldn't stop myself. Guys who take pleasure in this kind of thing are probably the worst guys like me. Reina nervously opened and closed her mouth over and over, trying to muster a response.
レナだけど。
うまかった。前回に続きなかなかだったぜ。飯との相性は最高だった。
I wonder if they used the same voice actors for the anime. Well, from the anime. Her face went bright red again. She was completely spacing out. It was truly a lot of fun to tease her. I pray that Reina never gets taken advantage of by some lowlife. Keep at it, Reina. I'll train you until you can handle it like an average person. I decided for myself.
行こうぜ。ミオンを待たせるとあいつうるさいぞ。
Seeing as if she'd been spacing out otherwise, I called Reina back to reality so we can make our way to school. This strange, easily flustered girl is Reina Ryugu. I've only known her for about a month, but I've come to realize it's not just her name that's strange. You can elaborate about that? Coming up to the next rendezvous point, we saw another person waiting for us. Noticing us, she waved.
お、来た来た。遅いよ二人とも。
いつも遅いのはお前の方だろう。
In sharp contrast to the diligent Reina, this one marched to the beat of her own drum. She's Mion Sonozaki. For what it's worth, she's our senior and head of class.
おはようレナ。そしてケイちゃんお久しぶり。何年ぶりだっけ
2日しか休んでねえよ。
そうだっけか前に会った時はこんなにちっちゃくて可愛かったのにな。
Mion's gaze stared at my chest and dropped straight down, focusing on the point between my legs. Whoa, what? So she was saying it was my crotch that was cuter back then? Before you ask, to be clear, I've never actually tried to show it to her. Hey, you didn't say anything here. I've grown quite splendidly. You'd be surprised. Not only is he bigger, but he has a mustache now. Hey, where's the voice acting? It's gone. Being so engorged in my energy every morning is quite a problem, though. Introduced next time, she'll be sure to greet it properly. Don't say next time. Right now it's just fine. How about letting the little guy get a breath of fresh air, morning air? I don't think I've ever heard her talk so dirty. You could smell it fouling up the morning air before. Mion sure does act like an old man sometimes. Gotcha. Time for the big reveal. Hope you don't regret it. My hands reached for my fly and it began to ramble in a near panic.
ねえねえ、何の話？何の話だろう？何の話だろう？
Red-faced and flustered, ran up tried to play dumb, but it was obvious she knew exactly what we were talking about.
どうだった？久しぶりの都会はさ。
Mion switched gears, dropping the dirty talk and changing the topic to something more befitting of this pleasant morning.
葬式で行っただけだぜ。慌ただしいだけだったよ。
でさ、探しといてくれた？頼んどいたやつ。
お前、人の話聞いてないだろ。俺は葬式で帰っただけだぜ。おもちゃ屋巡りをしてる余裕なんかなかったんだよ。
She wanted him to go to some toy stores in the city.
ち。おもちゃ屋とホビーショップは全然違うよ。特に洋物、こっちじゃなかなか手に入らないからね。
Western stuff. What
み
does she
ーちゃ
want?
んまたゲームの話？
Mion nodded proudly as Reina giggled.
そう、ケイちゃんに洋芸のカタログを持ってきてもらいたかったんだけどね。
A Western imported game. What she wants? Skyrim? Using that abbreviation did not make it sound pretty geeky. Well, it did make it sound pretty geeky.
そんなのまた通販で取り寄せりゃいいじゃねえか。
ま、そうするかな。またプレイングの熱いゲームを入荷するからね。今度は私にもわかりやすいゲームがいいな。
This is the weird thing, because I have a lot of friends in Japan that actually like Western games, like Bethesda games and games like from EA games, stuff like that, The Sims, or even what is that? I think Dragon Age and stuff like that. And we crave the games that are from over there, so it's kind of strange how we juggle things like that. At this time, I'd like a game that is easy to understand. Mion is a board and card game enthusiast, and I hear she's collected quite a few of different ones. According to Reina, Mion's room has become a museum for domestic and foreign games.
俺にも分かりそうなゲームがあったらやらせてくれよ。
Oh, maybe she's talking about board games, maybe.
いいよ。ケイちゃんさえ良ければね。でもうちらのレベルは高いよ。
上等じゃねえか。俺だって遊び100番遅れを取るつもりはないぜ。
はあ、じゃあ今度はケイチくんも仲間に加わるのかな。
Bristling with joy from head to toe, Randa looked back and forth between me and Mion. Mion gave an affirmative wink and her expression perked up even further.
男の子ってきっと外で遊ぶ方が好きだと思ってたからダメかと思ってたよ。
Reina laughed happily. From such a lively conversation, or a friendly conversation, you wouldn't have thought I had moved here for less than a month ago. I understood that they all... Wait, what? I understood that they did it all... They did all they could to make a transfer student feel like she was at home. He was at home. I'll have to try harder to fit in, so they won't feel like they have to try to make me feel welcome. I felt like I've acted a bit more open than I usually am. It should have be probably about the right time for this place. Inamizawa was a really small village. Not only is there only one school, but there's only one class. That class encompasses all different grades and ages. There's about 30 students at different levels, and they all study in the same class. I'm told that long ago there used to be a bigger school building and they had actual separate classes. However, it seems something happened that made it became a single class, and now it's stayed at that, out of tradition. I was shocked at first, but humans adapt pretty quickly. I've already gotten quite used to it. The sound of children playing started right from the morning. With such a lively mood, it felt more like a kindergarten than a proper school. Not that it was a bad thing. Mion, who had been walking in front of us up until then, suddenly let me take the lead, right in front of the classroom door. So I was meant to slide the door open and enter the room first. Heh. Too bad I wasn't gonna fall for that again.
ここで先頭を譲るとはな。お手並み拝見ってことかよ。
Mion chuckled with a haughty smirk on her face.
どうしたの二人とも。
下がってろレナ、危ないぞ。やつだ。
じゃあさとこちゃんが。
Her name was Satoko Hojo. She was a disrespectful, impudent, bossy kid. The way she talks was annoying, but it would be immature to get worked up over just that. The real problem was this.
見え見えの罠だな。引き戸の上に挟んだ黒板消し。見え見えだぜ、サトコ。
Eraser wedged to the door. Too obvious. A haughty laugh came from beyond the door.
お見事、ケイちゃん。こりゃ今回は勝負あったかな。
いや、相手はサトコだ。
This is Sadako we're talking
こ
about.
れだけとは思えない。
I doubt this is it. After falling for such intricate traps since the day I transferred, I no longer let my guard down. She liked to combine a variety of traps, traps that were simply there to bait you into the main one, traps that relentlessly kept coming at you like a sadistic Rube Goldberg machine. The list goes on. As well as being clever, they almost never misfire. When you least suspect it, she strikes. No escape, time to relax.
見たところ黒板消しは普通。石とかは入れてないみたいだな。
Oh god, she put rocks in it? And stuff? I took a pretty heavy hit from a blackboard eraser loaded with rocks on my first day.
じゃあさガラガラって開けて落としちゃえばいいんじゃないかな。
それだ。
That's what Sadako was after. Making me focus on my attention upwards so that as I lifted the door, lifted my hand to the door. There were thumbtacks stuck to the sliding door handle with tape. A frightening trap. Ow, shit. A potent, terrifying trap. Concealed by using the blackboard eraser.
見事なコンボ
So
だ、
she
サ
was
トコ。
diverting her attention to the eraser. Impressive combination.
だが所詮
But
は
in the end,
ダキの
nothing
浅
more
知恵だ
than
ったな。
trivial. Good job. Assured of my victory, I threw open the door and stepped into the room. I felt something strange hit my ankle. It was similar to the sensation of a jump rope catching my leg. By the time I realized she had the hook, line, and sinker, it was too late. I began to fall in an almost picturesque manner.
ケイちゃん、避けて。
Instinctively reacting to Mion's shrill warning, I twisted my body in midair before landing on the floor.
いっててて。
An inkstone filled to the brim was placed right where I would have landed. I shuddered, imagining the situation I landed square on.
あらあら、これはこれは。おはようございます、ケイチさん。朝から賑やかですわね。
Still sprawled in an awkward position, I was greeted by a mocking voice.
一段とスペシャルなトラップワークになったじゃねえか、サトコ。
私何のことかわかりませんもの。朝からついてませんわね。
I'm gonna quick save. I just want to make sure that things don't go weird in case it crashes or something.
てめえ。
I haven't tested this game out. At least not patched, so I have no idea. It seemed that I inadvertently sprained my back a little when I landed. Better than landing on that inkstone. Ooh, that would have hurt. A small hand gently rubbed my head.
ケイチの痛いの飛んでいけです。
The small dainty hand continued to gently stroke my head.
腰とかはくじかなかったですか？
Ooh.
こうして撫でていれば痛いのは消えてきますです。
I thought about asking how rubbing my head would help my back, but I didn't. It's not so much about what you actually do, but the thought that counts.
ありがとな。リカちゃんのおかげで痛みが引いてきたぜ。
おはよう。レナにおはようございます。みんなにもおはようございますです。
Oops. She greeted us with a bow. It was infectious. Reina, Mion, and I all bowed back.
リカちゃんはいい子だよな。それに比べてサトコは。
I glared in her direction. Satoko was whistling while rather deliberately trying to avoid eye contact.
サトコはいい子でございますのことよ。
いい子はこんな凶悪な罠は仕掛けないぞ。
She looked like she ready
言
to
いが
box.
かりでございますわ。何の証拠があってうわ
I picked Satoko up by the back of her collar. She looked like a misbehaved cat when I do this. But a cat wouldn't be setting up traps. She's much harder to deal with.
ごめんなさいって言ってみな。
ごめんなさい。
言わないなら。
I cocked my index finger on my thumb, letting it tremble as I brought it closer to her forehead. Was he a flicker?
暴力反対ですの。証拠もないのに。
言っとくが俺のデコピンはすごく痛い。ベニヤくらいなら割る。
I could split plywood in half. Oh, don't
や
make
め
her.
てやらないでけだもの。
人様が聞いたら誤解するような言い方をするんじゃね
A small hand tug on the back of my shirt.
圭一が2日間もお休みしたから寂しかったのです。
Rika-chan really is, so how could I do anything more than being told that? I gently released my grip on Sadako, who at this point was on the verge of tears. She still had her eyes clamped shut as she braced herself for the forehead flick. Oh, don't cry.
悔しくなんかないもん。泣いちゃダメです、サトコ。ファイト、おーです。
Rika gently petted the head of her prankster friend. You would never guess those two are the same age. I think Satoko could really learn a thing or a million from Rika-chan.
今度はもっとすごい罠を仕掛けなさいですよ。
Wait a minute. As she observed the scene, Rena's expression grew static as she began to swoon.
はあ、サトコちゃん泣いている。かわいいよ。
Kawaii? Okay, she thinks it's cute. Okay.
持ち帰っちゃダメだからね。
You can't take them home.
だってこんなにかわいいよ。
どんなに可愛くてもダメなの。
でもちょっとくらいならダメかな、ダメかな。
Rena kept a cutesy face even as outrageous ideas spewed from her mouth. According to Mion, Rena is ridiculously weak to cute things and always tried to take them home. Object or person.
物もまずいが誘拐はもっとまずいぞ。諦めろ。
じゃあ見てるだけだよ。それならいいよね、よね。
Rena swooned over Sotoko's crying form. If a girl ever goes missing in Hinamizawa, I'll be forced to turn Rena into the authorities. Forgive me, Rena. I'll be sure to bring your care packages when they put you away.
先生来たよ。早く片付ける。さとこ、すずりあんたのでしょ。
Just from Mion's single statement, the entire mood of the room shifted back to normal. The inkstone was bad, but the thumbtacks stuck to the door handle were even bigger problem. I pulled the tape off carefully, making sure not to skewer myself. Even though Sadako was the only one who set it up, everyone had to pick up after her. By the time the teacher entered the room, the bedlam from before had been neatly tidied up. Bedlam!
間に合ったね。起立。気をつけ。
She's doing alright? Mion gave out the morning commands. It's difficult being the teacher for all these different grades in one classroom. She has to teach something different to each one. But naturally, she ends up spending all her time with the younger kids. Reina and Mion, being the highest grade in the class, ended up doing self-study. They even ended up helping teach the younger kids, so it seemed like they could never get their own studies done. They're actually well behind where my studies have progressed to. As a result, I'm pretty much taken over for the teacher and helping Reina and Mion with their studies.
ケイチ君はお勉強教えるのうまいね。わかりやすいよ。
Reina took a breather after finishing highlighting an important section.
教える端から自信がなくなるよ。自分の理解の浅さがわかるな。
人に教えるには3倍理解してなければならないって言うしね。ケイちゃんもうちらに教えながら同時に復習もできてるわけなんだよ。
For one, isn't she supposed to be in a higher grade than me?
ミオンさ、一言じゃないぞ。真剣にやんないとまずいぜ。こんなレベルじゃ。
別に進学校を目指すわけでもないし、受験に必要なそこそこができてりゃ十分。
Her staunch defiance was really something else. This was a different type of relax than someone who already knew what was going to be in the entrance exams.
みーちゃん、ケイチ君が頑張って教えてくれるんだからさ。私たちも頑張ろうよ。
レナは素直ないい子だな。先生がきっといい学校に進学させてやるからな。
ありがとう。
レナには特に教えてやるからな。二人きりでプライベートレッスンだぞ。
That sounds pretty dirty, dude.
プライベートレッスン。
A puff of smoke shaped like a halo popped out of Reina's head. Exactly what kind of private lessons is she fantasizing about in her that makes her head turn so red? I'd like to hear her play-by-play of that next time. Oh, what the heck? Fizzled. While Mion was flipping through her vocabulary flashcards, she threw out a casual question.
都会じゃさ、こんなに勉強しなきゃいけないわけ？
この程度はできないと進学できないね。
進学できないから勉強するわけ？
まあ、平たく言えばそうなるな。将来役に立たないのは承知で。
こっちじゃあさ、出席日数が足りてりゃみんな進学できるんだよ。
そうなのか？
Study equals entrance exams. Having that basic law of the universe so easily overturned sent me into a state of shock.
そうかもね。試験で振り落とさなきゃならないほど人もいないし。誰でも進学できるならさ、そんなにガリガリとやる。
まあそうだけど、
I messed up
で
there.
も一般常識程度にはできた方が。
おじさんはそんな無駄な勉強に時間をかけるよりさ、この思春期の貴重な時間をもっと有意義に過ごすために使うべきじゃないかなと考えるわけよ。
Wow, she thinks like a Westerner. It was too profound of a statement to simply laugh off. But since it was Mion, it probably didn't actually have to be that deep in meaning. In place of a chime, the sound of the principal waving a handbell drifted through the classroom. I guess that means
ケイ
it's
ちゃん、おしまいおしまい。さあ、楽しいランチタイム。
in a completed 180 from her unmotivated state. Mion gave the commands that signaled the end of the morning period.
ケイチ君、お昼にしよう。
Itchy. I might have been making a very troubled face. Reina smiled brightly at me.
よっしゃ飯にするか
Let's have a meal or have lunch, yeah. There seemed to be different cliques even within the class. Most of them were divided up by gender and age, but our group was different. Our ages were different and we had boys and girls. But we weren't reserved around each other. This level of openness made a transfer student like me pretty happy. Reina and Mion pushed their desks together so they were facing each other. At the same time, Sadako and Rika-chan were slowly lugging their desks over as well.
ケイチくん早く早く
Reina waved her chopsticks in an unrefined manner, trying to hurry me along. Unless everyone was together, they wouldn't even open their lunchboxes.
ケイチさんのお弁当は耳ちく日の丸弁当に決まってますわさあ恥ずかしがらずにお見せなさいなほらほら
Even though Sadako was hurling insults at me, she wouldn't open the lid to her lunchbox until I was there. I pulled out my lunchbox swiftly and dragged my chair over to join the circle.
おうお待たせ
ではミー委員長の号令でいただきますです
At first, this was kind of embarrassing, but I got used to it pretty fast. At this point, I probably wouldn't have even opened up my lunchbox if someone else was too slow. Our ages and genders may have all been different, but we're all friends.
いただきます
Really though, I've gotten used to this group made up of all girls. Of course, there are other boys in the class, but they were a lot younger, so they were scared to approach me. Well, that's to be expected. Younger boys see older boys as scary. Compare that to girls, well, at least these girls aren't picky. We all put the side dishes in the middle where everyone was free to pick at them. I thought girls would mind sharing a meal with a guy, so I was a bit flustered joining in. However, Mion noticed that and teased me quite a bit. As a fruit of my efforts, I can now reach over and take sides from anyone's
あ
lunch.
らあらケイチさんのお弁当は今日は大奮発ではございませんこと
あらあらさとこさんのお弁当こそ大奮発ですこと煮物がしっくていい感じですわ
Buying into the fight that Sadako was starting, our chopsticks locked in a cross counter, stabbing into each other's lunch.
ビミ
お里芋がいい感じだぞ煮物は冷めててもうまいよな
After seeing my happy face, Rika-chan's expression broke into a little smile.
夕べの夕食の煮物少し取っておきましたですよ
By the way, Sadako and Rika-chan's lunches are always the same. It seems that Rika-chan makes both of them every day.
この煮物もリカちゃんが作ったのかいこいつはお袋の味クラスだよな
I was honestly impressed. The carrot rosettes weren't even from a mold, they were done by hand with a knife. And that's not
リ
easy
カ
to
ちゃん
do.
って何気にそういうの得意なんだよな
お裁縫とかお洗濯とかも上手なのすごいよねすっごいよねリカはいろいろとすんごいんですのよ
Jeez.
お前が威張ることじゃねえ
僕よりレナの方がお料理は上手ですそのね
It seemed that the topic of conversation switched to Reina when she wasn't expecting it, making her blush and trip over her words. Reina's lunch really was the star of the table. Not only did it look good, it tasted good. Everyone else pulled from Reina's lunchbox consists.
これ前に評判良かったからいっぱい作ってみたの美味しいかな
She does that kana kana thing, right? She always repeats what she says.
かなり合格点あミオお前取りすぎだよ
Knocking Mion's chopsticks aside, I reached in and secured my own portion. Satoko and Rika-chan reached over at the same time and struggle ensued. Everyone shoveled in mouthful after mouthfuls while praising it. Rena's lunchbox was soon empty. It's kind of bad that no one thought to leave any for her. But Rena seemed rather satisfied as she looked on.
いかがかしら レナさんもとてもお料理が上手ですことよ。ケイイチさんとは大違いですの。
She looks like she wants to box me.
だからお前が威張ることじゃねえだろ。
さとこだってケイちゃんと変わらないじゃんよ。あんたブロッコリーとカリフラワーの区別つくようになったわけ？
There's a big difference between broccoli and cauliflower. Her face went pale.
おいおい、ブロッコリーとカリフラワーの違いなら俺だってわかるぜ。
わかりますもの。わかるもん。
It's really hard for her to lie.
ケイイチくん、どっちでも茹でてマヨネーズかけると美味しいじゃない？
Ew. Who the hell freaking boils cauliflower? I've done that before, but I've never topped it with mayonnaise.
いじめちゃかわいそうだよ。みーちゃんも。
I should try that one day. I'm just gonna toss mayo on top of cauliflower and see what it tastes like.
まあまあ家庭科の授業ってことで。じゃあさとこ、これは？
Mion lifted her chopsticks. Between them was a piece of green stuff wrapped in bacon. Piece of what, like asparagus?
でもそれアスパラ。
Oh. Mion made eye contact with me, and within 0.3 seconds, I had Rika-chan's mouth covered. Holding a piece of bacon-wrapped asparagus and giving her two choices, she was pretty terrible.
その黄色がカリフラワー、緑がカリフラ。
さあどっちだ？ん？
多分黄色がブロッコリーで青がカリフラワー。でも緑はその。
Oh no.
本当にどっちか分かってる？降参した方がよくない？
I'd expect no less from the class representative, the oldest. The way she drives people into a corner just shows how much experience she has. This is just a hunch, but being brought into the Sonozaki household must be quite the ordeal.
わかりますもの。わかるもん。
Wakaremo!
じゃあ答えな
I
よ。
do know too. Then answer the question.
わかるもん。わかるもん。
She finally broke down and started crying. When she acts like this, she starts to seem her age. Oh man.
かいよ。
Reina entered a state of perpetual euphoria as Sadako bawled her eyes out. Reina was in a state of bliss as she rubbed her cheek against Sadako's head and smothered her really a very content face. One that wouldn't care if the world ended right then. It was that kind of smile.
レナ、ミオンさんがいじめるんですの。かいかい。大丈夫だよ。レナお姉ちゃんが悪い人たちはやっつけちゃうからね。
Oh shit! The fuck? Push boom bam. It was like a flash of lightning.
今一
What
体
was that?
何が？
She just punched me in the face. Both of Reina's fists shot out at supersonic speeds, striking Mion and me squarely in our faces. Before we knew it, Mion and I had sprawled eagle spread on the floor, staring up at the ceiling with matching welts on our
ケイ
faces.
ちゃんは食らうの初めてだよね。今日のはまだ甘い方。
甘いってこれよりまだ上があるってのかよ。
With that, Mion and I both slumped our heads back in the floor in unison. From now on, I'll be careful when I'm within striking distance of Reina.
ほらさとこちゃん、やっつけちゃったよ。かい。お持ち帰りしたい。
Making sure Reina couldn't see it, Sadako stuck her tongue at us. Tis damn you all using Reina like a puppet. Rika massaged our bruises without saying a word. So this is all before things go shit, right? Is this like the prologue? No matter what day they held, the last school bell always came too soon. Our shadows stretched off in the distance.
ねえケイチくん、明日はさ、何か予定とかあるかな？かな？
Yeah, she likes to repeat the words that she's saying. It was such a direct question for Reina, I inadvertently blushed. If it was a date, then wouldn't you do it more subtly? Reina saw me lost for words and realized I misunderstood and turned red as well.
違うの。そういうのじゃなくて、
So apparently that wasn't what she meant. But since it was fun to see Reina get panic, I went along with a little.
なんだ、そういうのじゃないのかよ。
Playing it up, I slapped my shoulders, feigning dejection.
ケイチくん、なんでがっかりしてるんだろう。太郎。みーちゃん。
Unable to hold it any longer, Mion slapped me on the back.
そっか、そういう攻め方はおじさん知らなかったわ。
Mion was rolling on the floor, clutching her stomach while Reina flailed about, completely bewildered. I couldn't help but start laughing as well. Feeling a bit guilty, I ruffled Reina's hair.
嘘、ごめん、冗談。悪かったよ。
She really is a cute one.
冗談ってどこからだろう。
あ、途中から。
About halfway through.
途中からってことはケイちゃん、最初の真っ赤になったのはあれ演技じゃないんだ。
それって。
It was only a more momentary lapse, but there was no way Mion could let such a delectable detail slip by her.
いや、その。
Saying anything more would also be a bad idea. In my bewildered state, I slipped further into an unfavorable position. After that, Mion continued to tease me about it for a while.
で、明日が暇だと何なんだよ、レナ。
何の話だっけ？
It had been so long that Reina had forgotten. That's how long Mion had teased me.
ケイちゃんさ、まだこのひなみ沢一人じゃ回れないでしょ？
That was true. I hate to say it, but if you blindfold me and spun me around 3 times like we were playing pin the tail on a donkey, I wouldn't be able to tell up from down here.
そうだな。町へ行くのと学校へ行く以外はまだ自信ないな。
そうそう。それでね、明日ね、みーちゃんとレナでお散歩しながらケイチくんにひなみ沢を案内してあげようよってことになって。
That would be a godsend. Frankly, I was happy about the offer.
もちろん行くでしょ？
暇ならな。
If I'm free.
女の子が誘ってんじゃん。
暇ならな。
どうせ暇なんでしょ？
暇ならな。
I was being stubborn still not to give a clear yes or no. Even though I thought it was a godsend, I'm too much of a scamp to say so up front.
ケイチくん、暇じゃないのかな？
While Mia and I had a rather back sour and forth, Rena peeked over at me hesitantly. Figuring I'd been a bit too rough on her, I just gave in.
すまん、許せ、ごめん。暇だ。
よかった。
Trepidation disappeared from Rena's face as it blossomed into a smile.
おうおう。ミヨンさんとレナさんじゃ随分と温度差がありますじゃん。
Wait, did I miss something? It seemed Mion didn't care for how rude I was to her compared to how quickly I agreed with Reina. But her being annoyed was very interesting. So I pushed Reina forward, speeding up our pace to leave Mion
行
behind.
こうレナ。明日は二人っきりで出かけような。嫌味なミオンは置いてって。
ケイチくんがそれでいいなら。
Oh shit!
案内しようって提案したのは私。しかとすんな前原圭一。
二人きりでピクニック嬉しいな。弁当は持ってくかレナ。
お弁当いるならレナ作っちゃおうかな。
レナもしかとすんな。二人がラブラブだって村中に回覧板を。
じゃあレナ
Did you just
今日は
punch somebody?
早く帰ってお弁当の準備するね。明日が楽しみ。じゃあねケイチくんにみーちゃんさようなら。
I think she just hit me on. Reina bounded off like she was walking on the moon. After the dust settled, all that was left with me standing next to Mion sprawled out on the ground. There was a welt on her
大
face.
丈夫か？ミオンとレナの立ち位置2メートルは離れてたはずだぞ。
あんたが来て以来切れ味は増す一方。おじさん身が持たないわ。
Maybe it'd be easier if you stop saying stuff that makes Reina want to hit you. Or else this might end up being Mion's slapstick comedy hour. If that happened, the results might be fatal.
くじけるなよミオン。レナのジャブを見切れるのはお前しかいない。
私は膝じゃないかと思ってんだけどね。
Could it be that we're hanging around with an unrivaled martial arts master? Maybe someday we'll see her debut in an extreme contact sport.
レナには負けられないぞ。ミオンも鍛えてリベンジだ。
ケイちゃんがしてよ。おじさんは応援してる。
Mia and I reaffirmed our determination to discover a way to counter Reina's infallible technique. Infallible. So far, I'm digging it. It's a pretty decent game. So, Higurashi when they cry. New tips unlocked. Tips acquired. We're mixed grade. Blah blah blah. What is this? What is this?
レナってさ、俺と同い年だったよな。
うんそうだよ。干支も同じだよね。
Hey now, it would be weird if we're the same age but not the same zodiac animal.
そんなことないよ。誕生日の違いがあれば年齢が同じでも干支が違うこともありえるって。
あれ？あ、ミオン、頭いいじゃないか。
ところでケイチくんは何月生まれなのかな。レナは7月なんだよ。
Reina smirked and puffed up with pride. Hey now, what's the meaning of this? She's not planning on being all high and mighty if her birthday is a wee bit sooner than mine, is she?
だが諦めろ。俺に誕生日で挑もうったって無駄なことだ。なんならどっちが年上か罰ゲーム付きで勝負してもいいぜ。
なんでだろう。なんでだろう。
Reina panicked at sudden being challenged to a wager. Given how panicked she is, I'm certain she doesn't have much allowance left this month. It's just sending her into a panic thinking about something as simple as a birthday. It's so fun, I can't help myself.
ってことはケイちゃん、ひょっとして4月生まれ？
そういうこったな。残念だなレナ。俺もうとっくにレナより年上なんだよ。
へえそうなんだ。じゃあみーちゃんと同い年なんだね。
まあほんの何ヶ月かはね。 すぐにまた差を開いてあげるけどさ。
Mion snickered through her nose. Hey now, that's not something to get all high and mighty about. As if I'm one to talk.
そういえばミオンって上級生なんだよな。
下級生の方が燃えるってんなら今日から下級生ってことでもいいけど。
If you're into underclassmen, I can be an underclassman from now on. What?
みーちゃん、よくわかんないこと言ってる。
Just by seeing Arena's blushing face, you could tell that she knew exactly what you meant by it, though.
でサトコとリカちゃんが下級生とどころか学校が違うくらいの下級生だよな。
ケイチ君はちょっと好みの年齢が低すぎると思うな。
You're not making any sense to yourself, Marina. I'll just grab onto her head and scruff up a bit.
はあ、やめて
前から思ってたんだけどさ、なんでこの学校ってクラスが学年混在なんだ？
教室の数が足りないからだよ。仕方ないじゃん。営林署の建物を間借りしてんだからさ。
When she says it like that, it makes sense. I've thought our school was strange for a while. Now, the schoolyard is gravel, and there are rooms that aren't for classes, and there's some strange sort of construction machine parked here.
なんで借りてるんだよ。本当の学校はどうしちゃったんだよ。
戦前からずーっと建ってたらしいからね。老朽化でね。廃校ってわけよ。まあそれで
Probably
生
an
徒
old
は
schoolhouse.
町の学校に通うことになったんだけどさ。すごいでしょ。
どこの学校だったの？
沖宮の駅前通りを抜けて病院に曲がって小児科の向かいに学校あるのわかる？
へえ、遠いよ。
I couldn't tell where that was by the location, but I understood it's pretty far from Reina's reaction.
まあそんなわけでさ、沖宮の学校に通いたくない連中はこうして営林署の建物を間借りした仮校舎に通ってるってわけさ。
ひなみ沢の子供の半分くらいかな。朝早くに自転車で通ってる子たちも結構いるよ。
まあこんなはちゃめちゃな学校に通ってたら進学校とかはちょっと無理だろうからね。
そんなことないよみーちゃん。ちゃんと頑張ればどこでだってお勉強はできるよ。
お、そうだぞそうだぞ。レナとは意見が一致したな。
そうだね、そうだね。頑張ろう。
せいぜい頑張ってくださいな。おじさんはささやかに応援しとりますわ。
俺たちがじゃないぞ、ミオンがだぞ。お前受験生だろ。こんな成績じゃお先真っ暗だぞ。
いいもんいいもん。路頭に迷ったら永久就職してケイちゃんに食わせてもらうから。
I'll just mooch off K-chan as he works forever.
永久就職ってなんだろう、なんだろう。
ほらそこ、うるさいですよ。
Who's Chi?
自習は静かに。
Oh, the teacher. Sadako saw it and chuckled heartily. I stuck out my tongue at her in response. It was just as Mion says. This school has nothing to do with higher education, but it makes up for having lots of valuable things that other schools don't. Huh, okay. So this is kind of like just extra little dialogue bits and stuff. We'll go through this. Why not? I got quite a bit of time to play tonight. It's only June, but it's already so hot. I can hear the Higurashi chirping me, and at night there are mosquitoes. It might as well be summer already. My only salvation is this morning that the mornings are still cool.
暑いでございますわ
Oh
ね。
man, I'm having gas from my soda. Summer, I do declare. Sadako was flipping her skirt. Isn't that pretty bad, dude? Oh, anyway. Languidly. That's pretty unladylike there. Even though she's a little brat, she still was a girl.
ケイチさんはワイシャツ一枚で涼しそうですわね。羨ましいですわ。
俺から見りゃスカートのサトコの方が涼しそうだよ。この時期のズボンがどれだけ暑いか女のお前にはわかるまい。
Oh, Stevie the Crush again.
あ、暑いって、
The girl has got imagining something indecent.
レナの夏服は涼しそうな色合いがいいよな。見てるこっちも涼しくなる。
ありがとう。本当に涼しいんだよ。私もレナさんみたいな涼しい夏服が良かったですわね。でもさとこちゃんの夏服ワンピースですっごい可愛いし、レナはさとこちゃんの夏服着てみたいな。これ結構蒸しますわよ。絶対にレナさんの方が涼しいですわ。でも可愛い服の方がきっと楽しいよ。はう。
I had a feeling that Reina and Sadako's base values were fundamentally different. Oh, don't tell me I have any water. Oh, that's okay, whatever.
そういえばこの学校って指定の制服とかないんだよな。
うん、ないよ。ふさわしい服であれば私服でも大丈夫なんだよ。
There are quite a few students in regular clothes. There are a few wearing uniforms, but they're all the same design, rather plain.
他の連中が着てる制服は何なんだよ。みんなお揃いだよな。
あれは町の学校の制服なんですのよ。別に決まってるわけじゃないですけど、みんな着てますわね。
そこへ行くと俺らの仲間はみんないろいろな制服を着てるよな。わざわざどこかから取り寄せたのか？
ええ、ミオンさんが調達してくださいますの。みーちゃんの親類で古着商をやってる人がいて、全国の学校の服を格安で仕入れてるんだって。
でその親類に頼んでいろいろ個性的な制服を取り寄せてもらってるわけか。
That Mianchi probably loves using her friends as dress-up dolls. That must be a strange second-hand clothing store. I get that it's second-hand clothing store, but stocking clothes from all schools all over the country. That's pretty strange for a second-hand clothing store. What's the point of stocking up clothes from faraway schools if they know nothing about?
うん、それはレナも思うよ。他にも体操服とかスクール水着のお
Ew.
古とかも扱ってるの。
If you know anything about swimsuits and PE uniforms in Japan, you don't want used ones. That's disgusting.
そういうののお風呂はち
Oh,
ょ
there
っ
we
と
go.
嫌だよね。
あんまり儲かってなさそうな商売だな。きっと少しでも儲けさせるためにミオンが一肌脱いでやってるんだろうな。
でもいつもミオンさんが自信満々に言いますのよ。今にきっと大ブレイクしてすごい商売になるって。
A second-hand clothing store that stocks school uniforms will be a big hit. I don't get it. Alright, so enough of that. Wait, what? Okay, so as the game progresses, we'll get more tips and so forth. So we're gonna save this for a second. And then we're gonna continue. So I only have chapter 1 right now. I'll be getting the other... Oh, wait. Do I have the others installed? I haven't modded them yet, I don't think. It took a little... I took it a little too easy in the... Well, actually, yeah, I did do that. I took it a little too easy in the morning of my day off. I was totally late. And to top it off, that pesky mom of mine pushed a return journey errand on me just as I was trying to leave the house. Today was the day Rena and Mion were gonna show me around Hinamizawa. Rena and Mion were already waiting for me at the meeting place.
ケイちゃん遅いぞ。
What is she wearing? An apron or a dress? It looks like a dress.
悪い悪い。責めるのは昨べの面白かった特番に行ってくれ。
ほう、女の子との待ち合わせに遅刻して言い訳がそれってわけ？
みーちゃんだって今来たばかりなんだよ。
ゆうべの密着24時間面白かったしねえ。
She was just as guilty as me. Rena was carrying a pretty heavy-looking handbag. What is that? Mion answered my unspoken question with a wink. That's right, Rena did make a picnic.
ケイちゃん、あの後レナ大張り切りだったらしいよ。
別に俺がけしかけたわけじゃないだろう。
そんな大変じゃなかったから気にしないでよ。
ゆうべから今朝まであのテンションらしいよ。責任取れんの？
わかった。俺も男だ。責任は取る。
責任ってなんだろう。
I'll take responsibility. As we both turned around slowly to look at Rena, our gazes drifted downwards to the massive handbag she was carrying. It didn't seem logically feasible that it would be entirely filled with lunchboxes, except it was Rena we're talking about here.
2キロくらいかな。
2 kilos. That's pretty freaking heavy.
レナね、荷物持つときよっこらしょって言ってた。5キロ。
それはオーバー。ケイチくん男の子だからきっといっぱい食べるだろうと思ってたくさんね。もう行こう。よっこらよっこ。
Oh. Just from the way she was lifting up, I couldn't believe the things were in there were just
訂
lunchboxes.
正。俺も5キロ。
手伝いはするけど全部食べるんだからね。レナを悲しませたら許さないよ。
The only thing I could do at that moment was exercise a bit to make myself hungrier. Having finished with the pleasantries, we began our leisurely stroll. A carefree walk bathed in the gentle morning sunlight. I couldn't have imagined something more wholesome existed during my time in the city. These were the boonies after all. No desk jockeys trudging to work on weekends out here. It really was a nice place, peaceful and quiet. As sparsely populated as the village was, you could still run into people just by walking around.
あ、こんにちは。
こんにちは。あら、そちらは。確か、前原くんだったかしら。
My two companions exchanged greetings with everyone we ran across. All of these passersby even knew my name.
なんで俺ってこんなに有名人なんだ？
We passed 3 people, and when all 3 of them knew me, I started to feel a little paranoid.
悲しいかな。ひなみ沢は人が少ないからね。みんな顔見知りなんだよね。
つまりなんだ？知らない顔が歩いてれば、それは自動的に新しく引っ越してきた前原さんってことになるわけか。
うん、そういうことになるね。
It was a process of elimination you can only pull off in a place like this. Well, it's quite effective. From now on, I better make sure to maintain a good reputation. The day I've discovered accidentally gawking at a dirty magazine in the bookstore, I can expect all the villagers labeling me as a lech by the next day. Hinamizawa is not to be trifled with. It's what happens when you live in a small town or a village. Everybody knows everyone. So rumors spread fast. It's not the end of this nightmare.
もちろんわかるよ。最初に会ったのが牧野林店の竹蔵おじさん。趣味は盆栽と尺八なんだよ。
次が乾物屋の次男の大輔くん。
大好き。
趣味は狙撃で、将来の夢は超永久スナイパーだとか。それで今の人は入江診療所の看護師の美代さん。趣味は野鳥の観察と撮影だって。
すれ違った全員の名前までわかるのかよ。プロフィールまで。
Even their profiles. Seeing my surprise, Mion and Reina exchanged looks and burst into laughter.
まあね、ここいらは都会みたいにご近所付き合いが希薄じゃないから。
試しに聞いてみよう。今ここにいる俺は誰だ？
前原圭一くん。意地悪なこと言うけど本当は優しいテレ屋さん。
転校してきてようやく3週間。趣味は昼寝。最近トランクス派に転向。
Whoa, what? What the fuck? How does she know you switched over to wearing boxers?
したよね。
もういいもういい。
トランクス。
それもいい。
Apparently, there is absolutely nothing that you can keep hidden here. Hinamizawa is not a place to be trifled with. How the hell does she know that? She's been spying on you?
こ
Maybe
れじゃ
she's
さ、
watching you.
俺のための案内ってより俺のお披露目みたいだな。
そうだね。うちらさ、これだけ賑やかに練り歩いてたからね。みんな思うんじゃない？ケイちゃんもひなみ沢に馴染んでくれたんだって。
ひなみ沢は過疎だから。村中みんなが新しい仲間を歓迎してくれてるの。
I thought about brushing it off with something to the effect of, "You're kidding me," but I held it back. Had I ever greeted someone who just moved into a city like this before? Thinking about that made me believe that they weren't joking at all. We passed another person. Of course, we were called out again the same way.
あらこんにちは。仲良しそうでいいわね。
藤島さんちのおばさんだよ。こんにちは。
あら前原くん、両手に花でいいわね。
Jesus.
どう？生活はもう慣れた？
The way her voice was half expecting her to say like, take both of them and repopulate the village because it's starting to dwindle. Instead of regurgitating a prepared response like I would have in the city, I responded with an empathic nod. The old woman chuckled, voicing her appreciation of how energetic I was.
グッド。
As I looked back over to Rina and Mion, they gave me a wink.
でね、そろそろお昼にしないかな。
Kana. Rina's brilliant smile signaled the approach of an event that both Mion and I were trying to forget. We looked at each other.
俺も男だ。努力はする。だが量が多すぎる。
よしケイちゃん、ここはおじさんに任せなさい。
Mion has never seemed as reliable as she does right now. I expect no less than the class representative.
どうせ食べるならさ、見晴らしのいいところで食べない？
ああ、それいい。賛
Rina nodded with her head happily in response to Mion's proposal. Oh no. Stairs are a bad thing. Okay, I thought for a second it was gonna be like... Cresting at the top of a stone stairway, a shrine drawn straight out of my imagination appeared before us. It had worn down a bit through the years, but fallen leaves had been swept away, giving it a tidy feeling.
ここはね、古出神社っていうの。多分見晴らしが一番いいところかな。
ここの場所、よく覚えといてね。もうすぐここでお祭りがあるんだから。
へえ、祭りにしちゃちょっと早いシーズンだよな。
Ugh, God, gas.
綿流しは夏祭りじゃなくてね、昔は冬の終わりを喜ぶお祭りだったらしいよ。
I was embarrassed for assuming that festival would be only held in summer.
さて、弁当を広げてっと。
It sure did smell delicious. It was Raina's home cooking. It went without saying that it would be delicious. But is it even possible to finish all of this? Hey, Mion, it'll take more than just a good view to get all this down, you know.
こんにちはです。
Oh, Rika. That means Satoko is there. Wonderful. Mion grinned all over me. I see. This was a secret plan, the power in numbers. You have my thanks, Mion. Following up with all the pieces are in my place is special to me.
騒がしいから来てみれば、これは何ですの？
見りゃわかるだろ。これからランチタイムだ。ビュッフェスタイルだ。レラの手作り弁当に舌鼓だ。
そんなの見ればわかるでございますわ。どうして人様の庭でご座なんか広げてますの？
Okay, so they live at the shrine?
神社は公共の場所だぞ。勝手に独占するな。
圭一の言う通りですよ。みんなのお庭にしますです。
くー、やっぱりリカちゃんはいい子だな。
Oh, okay. I couldn't get the...
座りな、そこ。
No. I think that's it.
一緒に食べよ
After opening up a spot for Rika-chan, I promptly turned my back on Satoko. Aw, come on, don't be a
ちょ
bastard.
っとお待ちなさいな。私はどこに座ればいいんですの？
う。お前に座る場所はないし、食べる分もない。
Oh, don't be mean, man. Just teasing her.
大丈夫だよ。さとこちゃんの分もちゃんとあるから。
ない。さとこの分も俺がいただく。
そんなことは許せませんの。リカ。はい、お箸です。
Both Satoko and leapt at the boxes, battling it out with each other.
いやはや、ケイちゃん乗せるのうまいわ、ほんと。才能あるのかもしれない。
はい、お皿。みーちゃんもリカちゃんも。
Rena whipped out a pair of chopsticks and paper plates. Where the hell did she get paper
僕
plates?
たちも頑張らないとなくなってしまうです。
そうだね。よし、参戦と行くかな。
いっぱい食べてね。ちゃんとみんなの分あるから。
Rena said as she opened up the thermos. Just then I realized that this lunch was made under the assumption that 5 people would be eating. It didn't change how much there was, but the implication behind it was different.
そのハンバーグは渡しませんわ。
いや、肘は反則だろう、さとこ。
襟首をつかむのも反則でございます。
It was a tough battle, blocking with her full momentum and an elbow in the opening move. Sotoko appeared to have the upper hand, but the difference in our proficiencies with chopsticks proved to be fatal and gave me the upper hand.
最後のミートボール。
The last meatball.
校長さとこ、破れたり。
Satoko and Amimo began choking at the same time, falling backwards in spasm. Rika-chan patted me on the head to clear it, even though it was actually stuck in my throat. Seeing that made Rena blush and breathe heavily in excitement. was almost like flowers were floating all around her. Mion advised Rina to refrain from saying anything that could get her locked up. This is how our meals usually go. I do anything in my power, just so things could easily stay like this. The intense battle calmed, and finally everyone reached a point where they could begin talking. Receiving tea from the thermos, I let a small sigh.
日本語ってやつはさ、どうしてこう味に対する賛辞が少ないんだろうな。
食事中の団らんって考えがそもそも近代に入ってからだからじゃない？
昔の人は無言で食事を済ませたそうだし、作る人もちょっぴり寂しかったろうね。きっと昔の人は食べるのに忙しくて味を褒める暇もなかったのですわ。
That's just you.
でもね、美味しいの一言だけでも嬉しいよ。苦労の甲斐があったかなって。
She blushed a little as she said that.
美味しいです。
With absolute perfect timing, Rika snuck Reina directly with a praise. She looked straight at her with an expression of bewitching innocence.
あ、
は？
After Reina uttered an intelligible noise, a ring of smoke rose from her head with an audible poof.
はあ、リカちゃん、お持ち帰りじゃなくてありがとう。本当に美味しかったですよ。
Reina flushed red with excitement, embracing Rika-chan and rubbing her cheek against her so hard that you could almost hear it.
リカちゃんには褒めてもらったお礼にじゃーん、これをサービスね。
Two apple rabbits, after sticking toothpicks into them, she thrust them towards Rika-chan. After Rika-chan accepted them, the mood suddenly shifted in a bizarre way.
なんだよ、さとこ。その挑戦的な目は。
皆さんにはレナさんのリンゴを獲得できるだけの賛辞が用意できまして。
強気じゃんよ。ボキャ品のあんたにどんな賛辞が思いつくっての？
ではご覧あそばせ。
After Satoko flashed Mion and me a defiant look, she changed the tone of her voice suddenly.
エレナお姉ちゃんのお弁当、サトコも美味しかったよ。
Satoko looked up at her proudly while talking cutesy. What? How was that praise? That's not even persuasion by tears, that's persuasion by cuteness, isn't it? This is a Reina limited special skill. She blushed, her head spin, waving around in circles. Don't fall for it, Reina.
は
Of course, that was asking for the impossible. Reina glomped on the Sadako and began rubbing her cheek against her.
ー、かいかい。サトコちゃんもかいよ。お持ち帰り。は
Swish, stab, push. Sadako was also presented with apple rabbits. After stuffing them into her mouth, she looked over at Mion and me, again with that defiant gaze. It took only 5 seconds to take down Reina. That's so unfair. To think she had such a trick.
悔しければレナさんにご褒美がもらえるような賛辞をお考えあそばせ。
Damn it! That was a dirty trick. First of all, that wasn't even praise.
さとこ、それで勝てたつもりとはね。あんたらの底の浅い技とはわけが違うものを見せてあげようじゃない。
それは頼もしいぜ、ミオ。それはどんな技なんだ？
やるのはケイちゃん。
Oh, oh no.
はあ？
見せてもらおうではございませんか。戸島のあがきを。
The plan of attack that she suggested was wicked, but it was the only thing that we had to beat Sadako. After sipping my tea, I started talking very naturally and calmly.
本
Perfectly.
当に美味しいよな。これってさ、全部手作りなのかい？
実はね、これほとんど冷凍物なの。
じゃあレナの手作りのってどれだい？
その恥ずかしいな。教えなきゃダメ？どうしても？
From the synergy of Boy Plus handmade lunchboxes, her expression had melted into euphoria.
わかるよ。これでしょ。
Rena turned an even deeper shade of red. The words I can't believe it practically written on her face.
なんでわかるかな？レナの手作り。
Of course, Mion had told me beforehand. It had been perfect so far. After acting like I was shy, I waited a beat. Next would be.
Lena.
Oh no.
匂いがしたから。
After acting like I was shy, I waited a beat. Next time would be the finisher. Okay. It had your smell. Silence enveloped the area. What the hell? Why is everything turning inverted? Reina's face completely still. Oh, okay. Shit. Reina's face completely turned red, frozen solid. With a small yelp, Satoko also blushed. Of course, I did
レ
too.
ナの手作りのリンゴのウサギさんが食べたいな。なんて。
Even if this is all because I was competing in Sadako, I felt like I had crossed the line by a good 9 yards, I think. Then, at that moment, bawoosh! It was a Tupperware container filled with rabbits.
食べてね、ケイチ君。いっぱいあるんだよ。
Shit! Instantly, dozens of the apples were shoved into my mouth, knocking me over.
はい、して。ケイチ君。
Ooh, man, she really likes him. My head was forcefully laid upon her lap, and even more apples were shoved into my mouth. While she was squealing, one apple after another was forced into my mouth. More and more apples. How about them apples, Sadako? Looks like we win.
ケイちゃん、殉職見事なり。どうよ、さとこ。うちらの完全勝利だね。
こんな手信じられないですの。悔しくないもん。
Sadako ground her teeth, mortified. We did it. I claimed victory as my consciousness drifted slowly away from me. At that time, Rena stopped her squealing as she suddenly realized something.
リカちゃん、食べないの？塩水強すぎたかな？かな？
Looking over, Rika-chan pulled the chopsticks out of the apple rabbit, placed it into her cupped hands, seemed to be lost in words of what to do.
うさぎさんがかわいそうです。助けてあげてほしいです。
Save him. Whoa! P. That was the sound of blood spurting from Rena's nose. What?
かいいよ。今夜こそ絶対お持ち帰り。
Why is their nose bleeding? She shook sporadically, her head wobbling back and forth. Then, coming back to her senses, she took all the apples around me, gathered them up with the flip, and fixed them back up on the plate.
これでみんな寂しくないよね。これリカちゃんにあげるね。
Rika-chan's raised up Sadako's hand like a referee after having that plate of rabbit shoved to her. She whispered,
僕たちが勝ちましたです。えええ逆転負け
はあ、はふやわえや。
I just don't care anymore. Thus, my sacrifice ended up being in vain. It was a fun-filled, crazy day. Oh, let me... But as soon as the sun began to set, the end of the day really did come quickly.
じゃあね、レナにケイちゃん。また明日ね。
ミオ、今日はありがとな。楽しかったぜ。
また明日ね。
Satoko and Rika went home as well. We parted ways with Mion, and it ended up with just me and Rena enjoying the evening air on our way home.
ケイチくんも今日は付き合ってくれてありがとう。楽しかった？
ああ、楽しかった。まだ家に帰るのが惜しいくらいだぜ。
じゃあさ、ちょっとだけ寄り道してもいいかな？
寄り道？遠いのか？
ちょっと歩くけどすぐ済むから。
So we had been walking around all day. I must have seemed a bit tired. Not feeling like teasing Reina, I quietly nodded. What is this? Traversing a small path up a small hill, the land suddenly stretched out before us. There, what seemed like the remains of a dilapidated construction site came into view. A large heap of garbage spread out towards the swamp. Probably illegal dumping. I recall it being in the newspaper.
今日は久しぶりだから何かあるかな？何かあるかな？
Ew, what are you gonna do? Dumpster dive?
久しぶりって、レナのようはあのゴミの山かよ。
ゴミじゃないよ。レナにとっては宝の山だもん。
Reina had already entered that well-known cute mode of hers. So that meant there was something cute here.
わあ、新しい山だ。ワクワク、ワクワク。
She descended the unstable slope with ease. I'd expect no less from a born and bred country girl.
おい、待てよ。今行くから。あったたたた。
My city-raised self was completely pitiful.
いいよ、ケイチくんはそこにいて。すぐ済むから。
Reina kindly declined my accompaniment.
転ぶなよ。足元に気をつけろよ。
大丈夫だよ、大丈夫。全然平気。
Literally bounding among the heaps of trash, Reina disappeared from sight. I didn't like being left behind, but I was pretty tired from the whole day, so I just ended up waiting. Without the lively Reina around, the surrounding area quickly fell into silence. The cry of the Higurashi gently cooled the air. Fairly exhausted, I began to feel a little sleepy. Just then, the sudden noise of scattering pebbles alerted me to someone's presence. Startled, I turned around. Standing there was a typical-looking photographer. He spied me through his camera. His body was tanned and fit, but something about him seemed unreliable, and he had a bit of aloof air about him. Well, it didn't seem like he was a bad guy in any sense.
おっと。びっくりした。
Although startled when I turned around, he overplayed his reaction. That was my line.
驚いたのはこっちですよ。
ごめんごめん。驚かすつもりはなかったんだ。君はひなみ沢の人かい？
I gathered that he wasn't from that question. Unfazed by my suspicious gaze, he introduced himself without my prompting.
僕は富武。フリーのカメラマンさ。ひなみ沢にはたまに来るんだ。
I didn't ask who you were.
写真ってのは被写体に断ってから撮るのが礼儀なんじゃないんすかね。
ごめんごめん。メインは野鳥の撮影でね。断った試しがないんだよ。
So what, you're saying that I'm the same as the birds?
いやいや、夕闇に黄昏る少年があまりにも絵になっていたんでね。本人の許可を取らずにファインダーを覗いたことを謝るよ。
Adults are pretty slick. All that arrogant, or no, sorry, all that annoyance I felt for being startled just flew away as he buttered me up. I had no intention of hanging around with this guy trying to get cozy with me, except it didn't seem like Rena would be back anytime soon. But this older guy, Tomitake-san, he didn't mind my cautious responses and continued rambling on by himself.
待たせてごめんね。もう終わりにするから。
Rena popped her head out from one of the lower piles of garbage and waved her hand.
連れがいたのかい？お、彼女はあんなところで何をしているんだい？
That's what I wanted to know.
さあね。昔起こった殺人事件の死体でも探してるんじゃないですか。
Tomitake-san looked shaken up by that for a moment. Uh-oh, I responded as if I were talking with Reina and the others.
嫌な事件だったね。まだ見つかってないんだろ？
Oh shit. This is where it starts to get weird, isn't it?
ケイチ君お待たせ。待ったかな
馬に蹴られる前に退散するかな。驚かせてすまなかったね。
What did he mean by that?
ケイチ君。
So somebody died out here? Tomitake-san chortled suggestively, then disappeared into the twilight. Missing my chance to retort put me a bit off.
ケイチ君怒ってる？どうしてだろう
It wasn't Reina's fault, so I decided just to brush it off for now.
どうだった？掘り出し物は見つかったか？
聞いてあのねあったのランディ君人形
Colonel Randy doll. Who the fuck is Colonel Randy?
ランディ君人形？ってあれか？ファーストフードの店の前に必ず置いてあるあの等身大人形の？
You mean a Colonel Sanders doll? Statue? I guess that's their parody here.
そうランディ君
Randy Kun.
あーかいお持ち帰りしたい
He wants to take home.
あれはゴミだろ。お持ち帰りしたきゃしてもいいんだぜ。
他の山の下敷きになってるの簡単には掘り出せないしあそこ明かりがないからすぐ暗くなっちゃうし
Reina seemed quite down about finding treasure and not being able to bring it back.
俺も手伝ってやるよ。今日のうまかった弁当の恩返しってことでさ。
ありがとう
Birds heading home to roost proclaimed that nightfall would soon be upon us.
ケイチ君が手伝ってくれるランディ君をお持ち帰りできるはう
Reina staggered along as if intoxicated in her own dreamy state of mind. I tried asking her in a way that would make her take her out of her cherry state.
なあレナ、あそこで昔なんかあったのか？
ダムの工事をやってたんだってね。詳しく知らないけど。
例えばさ、工事中になんかあったとか、事故とか。
知らない。
What? Shade at night sounded like something out of a bad J-horror. Her tone was disturbingly frank. It sounded more like denial than an answer. It must have appeared rather... I must have appeared rather dumbstruck. Raina quickly lightened her expression.
実はね、去年までよそに住んでたの。
え、レナも転校生だったのか？俺はてっきり。
だからね、それ以前のことはよく知らないの。ごめんね。
Don't really know, don't want to talk about it. That was the kind of feeling she gave me. Thinking about it, of course, it would be like that. This wasn't the type of thing girls would enjoy talking about. It was quite a disturbing incident. They still haven't found one of the arms. It was just like Tomitake said. Then I had a feeling only the Higurashi would know. The Mayabara Manor. I guess this is his house.
ケイちゃんってさ、
You're
す
not
ごいお
stinky.
金持ちってわけでもないの？
なんだよ突然。俺がいつ高級車で投稿したよ。
月の小遣いはいくらもらってる
1000円。
結構小市民的ですのね。
Plebeian amount. Damn!
お弁当のおかずも普通ですよ。お金持ちじゃないです。
What are they talking about? To be asked out of nowhere how much I get and told that's a plebeian amount.
ごめんね、ごめんね。
Reina seemed to pick up on my dubious expression and started giggling.
ケイちゃんちってさ、すっごく大きいでしょ？だから建築中からひなみ沢中で前原屋敷って呼ばれて注目の的だったんだよ。
Mayabara Manor.
あんなに大きいお家だから、どんなお金持ちなのかなってみんなで噂し合ってたの。
Oh, I see. Now I get it. Well, the frame of it is huge. I see how it could cause some misunderstandings.
私の推理では、お家を建てるのにお金をかけすぎて貧乏になってしまったと考えてますのよ。
Oh, damn.
貧乏でかわいそうかわいそうです。
Rika-chan took pity on me as she patted my head. I go from being treated like a millionaire to a beggar.
諸君らの楽しい想像をぶち壊すようで悪いが、うちは金持ちでも貧乏でもないぞ。極めて平均的な普通の家庭だ。
あれだけ大きな家は普通とは言わないって。しかも玄関は立派で門は大型車も入れるようになってるし、絶対普通じゃないって。
They do say the bigger the house, the more prosperous you are. The reason the house is so big is because Dad's studio is in it too. There's a bunch of different workshops, and a lot of his works are hung up in different places. So he's, oh shit, okay, so he's actual like artist, okay. Of course. What was I thinking? He goes around painting peaks for people in town, like fucking houses or something? No, he paints art, okay. I don't know why my mind was in the gutter there. In the beginning. All of them huge too. For these reasons, that family actually uses a third of the house for day-to-day living. He planned it out so people in cars could come in and see the gallery if he opens up in the house someday. By the way, the entrance way Mion is talking about is one for the studio and is normally sealed off. The entranceway to the Maibara house actually uses a very plain and simple one. The interior is much different from how it looks on the outside.
ぜひ今度ケイちゃんの家を探検してみたいよな。一体何が隠されているのか。
かいいものが隠されてるといいな。きっと家具を買うお金もなくなってて殺風景な部屋がいっぱいなのですわ。絨毯のお部屋ならぜひゴロゴロしてみたいですよ。ああ、それいいね、それいいね。レナもゴロゴロしたい。
Who the fuck just rolls around in a person's house on the carpet? Well, then again, kids do. Seems like their imaginations were just piling on. Well, sometime in the near future, it wouldn't be too bad to invite them all to my house. Dad is a sucker for the ladies, so he might even let them look around his studio. The cry of the Higurashi crescendoed and the sky towered over everything. It was hot, but the air was clear. It smelled like the beginning of summer. What is this? The dam site murdered / dismemberment. From the June 1979 edition. The Shishibon city of Okinamoya police station, June something, late at night. Suspects were arrested on the suspicion of murder and improper disposal of a corpse. The main offender had been added to the wanted list nationwide. According to our sources, the 6 suspects were at the Hinamizawa Dam construction site workroom at 8 p.m. where they were suspected to have assaulted and murdered the site overseer as a group, dismembering his body and hiding it. On the blank at 8 o'clock in the morning, a report was filed by the Shishibon City Hospital in which a male suspect alluded to have murdered Mr. something. When questioned at the police station, the individual confessed to the crime. Since a portion of the body was recovered at the location he gave, he was arrested that afternoon on suspicion of murder and the mutilation of a corpse. The rest of the suspects were arrested on the same day, but the main culprit is still at large. Police are currently on his trail. The motive is purported to be a drunken verbal dispute during which he killed the victim in a fit of anger. However, there are multiple inconsistencies with their testimonies. The investigation is still ongoing. What the fuck, man? I hope I don't have to run into some fucking crazy person that just cuts people up. Alright, we're gonna save it and continue on. Damn, chapter 1 is fucking long.
ランディ君人形？ああ、そりゃレナのツボだわな。
レナがサトコやリカちゃんをお持ち帰りしたくなるのはわかる。だがランディ君人形だけは理解できないぞ。あんなメガネ親父のどこがいいんだ。
What's so good about that four-eyed geezer?
そりゃレナに直接聞けばいいじゃん。どうせだって会員だもんしか言わないだろうけどさ。
レナはよくあそこ工事現場のとこへ宝探しに行くのか？
ちょくちょく見に行くって言ってましたです。
しかし年頃の女の子がゴミあさりね。
レナが楽しいならいいんだと思いますです。
あそこはなんだよ。ダムの工事現場だったのか？
It had been bugging me since yesterday, like an itch I couldn't scratch.
何年か前に中止になっちゃったけどね。
みんなで力を合わせて戦いましたです。
Hearing an ominous word like fought come from Rika-chan's mouth startled me.
そうそう。何しろとんでもない話だったんだよ。ひなみ沢が丸ごとダム湖に沈むことに一方的になってさ。
So I'm the only one to be here because the protest succeeded?
申し訳ありませんわねケイチさん。お化粧直しに時間をかけちゃいまして。
さとこ、便所には溜めてから行け。一気に出せて楽で早いぞ。
Oh. Oh, Kenichi. Kenichi's just. Ugh.
花も恥じらう乙女になんて口の利き方。
Who's she calling a maiden? If Sadako really was a maiden, she wouldn't have reacted like that. The usual hijinks ensued.
さてと、今日は快速にのっとり部員の彼前原圭一君を新たな部員として我らの部活動に加えたいのだがいかがだろうか。
レナは異議なーし。貧民風情が私の相手を務められるかしら。僕もサトコも賛成しますですよ。
全会一致おめでとう前原圭一君。君に栄えある我が部への入部試験を許可する。
順を追って説明しろ。俺はまだ入るとは言ってないぞ。何の部活だ？
我が部はだな、複雑化する社会に対応するため活動ごとに提案されるさまざまな条件下、時には準教あるいは逆境からいかにして
レナは弱いからいじめないでほしいな。仲良くやろうね。レナさんは甘えてますわ。弱い者は食い尽くされるのが世の常なのでございますわよ。つまりみんなでゲームして遊ぶ部活なのです。
Rika-chan was the only one to answer my question with a pertinent response. So it's like a games club. So basically this club put Mion's hobby of collecting games to use by playing various games that Mion had hoarded every day. It seemed that, depending on the day, there were prizes for the winner of a penalty for the person who could finish last. Or that would
先に
finish
断
last.
っとくけど、ままごと遊びみたいなレベルじゃないから、一生いっぱいに命がかかってるくらい本気でかかった方がいいよ。
楽しくやれればいいじゃないか。そう凄むなよ。
快速第一条、狙うのは1位のみ。遊びだからなんていういい加減なプレーは許さない。
快速第2条、そのためにはあらゆる努力をすることが義務付けられておりますのよ。
By the way Satoko put it, it sounds like she was saying use any means necessary.
もちろん僕も頑張りますです。レナも弱いけどね、精一杯頑張ってるの。
I knew what they were trying to say. In a game where everyone is aiming for the top, it's rather unsportsmanlike to just play for
よ
fun.
し、俺も本気でやってやるぜ。
With that, I was finally ready for my rite of initiation, my baptism into the club.
ケイちゃんに一応忠告ね。レナも結構えげつないからね。
Whoa, Rena could get pretty nasty. This initiation looked like it was going to be rough. Mion began finishing around the student lockers in the back of the room. They have all the games here at the school? Well, it's club equipment, I guess, so that's fine.
難しいゲームはケイちゃんだけに不利だからね。今日は誰にでもわかるゲームにしよう。スタンダードにトランプのジジ抜きはどう？
What the hell? Why did it shake like that?
よし、受けてやるぜ。
やっぱり罰ゲームがないと燃えないよね。今回はビリに顔面落書きの刑どう？
ああ、油性じゃないよね。油性じゃないよね。
Permanent? She wants to draw on our faces with a permanent marker?
上等でございますわ。
Oh, hell no. Satoko cheered the idea on. She didn't even flinch at the thought of a severe penalty. It seemed like she was raring to go. If it's gonna be like this, then I can't lose either.
じゃあカード切ってみんなに配るね。
Old Bachelor is pretty much the same as Old Maid. There's only one difference, there's no Joker. In its place, one card is pulled out at the start, meaning there will be only one card with a match left over at the end. You don't know which card you'll end up being the Joker. It's a pretty thrilling game, okay.
じゃあ1枚抜くね。
Everyone stare at the card intently, so no one knows which. It's technically like a wild card. So no one knows which card is the. Okay. That's
ま
interesting.
終盤になれば
It's
お
a
の
pretty
ずと
good.
わかるし
Pretty cool.
最初はどうしようもないよな。
But the rest of them were very serious. They didn't seem as relaxed as I was. They compared their cards to the one face down, all while gauging each other's reactions. It was as if they could see what the face down card was. No, it couldn't be.
このトランプ結構傷物だろ。まさかみんなにはその傷でそこに伏せたカードが分かってる？
快速第2条ですわ。
Oh,
ケ
hell
イチ
no.
さんも勝つために最善の努力をなさいませ。いくつかのカードは特徴的だからケイチ君にもすぐ覚えられるよ。
Oh shit, they can count cards. Not good. She said that so matter-of-factly.
上等だぜ。この程度でハンデになると思うなよ。
I lashed out angrily, but it was obvious I was at a disadvantage. After all, they've gone so far to memorize the wear and tear of each individual card. This wasn't a simple game of Old Bachelor. If this was a test, then they were playing with the answer sheet in front of them. Bring it. I'll take advantage of all your carelessness and beat you at your own game. That baseless confidence would be crushed.
ケイちゃんの手札を右から言うぜ。3、4、9、ジャック、クイーン。
Oh shit.
ちなみにジジはダイヤの J なのです。どうカードを入れ替えたって見え見えですわ。上がりですな。
I am.
鬼だ。こいつらは鬼だ。
That's fucked
レ
up.
ナは鬼じゃないよな。
ごめんねケイチ君。こっちがハートの3だよね。あがり。
Not even a bit of mercy. Rana, even Rika-chan. These club activities weren't to be trifled with. Unluminous of this club would definitely survive the cruelest situations. If our entire class had self-detonating collars strapped to their necks and we were dropped into a deathmatch on a desert island, these guys would probably take it like fish to water. I can already picture their joy as they hunted each of their classmates.
ポイントは減点制ね。
It's the lowest point system.
着順がそ
The
のまま
order
マイナ
itself
ス点。
dictates the points.
トータルで一番少ない人が優勝。
ではケイチはビリなので5です。やっぱりさ、綺麗なトランプでやらないとケイチ君に不公平だよ。
いいのいいの。ケイちゃんだって男だし。
That's fucked up.
これくらいの逆境は跳ね返せるよね。
貧民風情は逃げ帰って涙で枕を濡らすのがお似合いでございますことよ。
A petite hand laid itself on top of my head, which was trembling from uncontainable frustration. It was Rika's.
ファイトおーです。
Thanks to Rika's words of encouragement, I was able to calm down. You need to be calm, especially when you're cornered. That's the power could muster during this crisis. Think clearly. Take time and look at the cards carefully. It's just as Raina said, several of the cards have their own distinct markings, making them stand out. Memorizing them would be pretty simple. Think about what you can do in the situation. Try everything in your power to improve your chances of victory.
わあ、うまいよケイチ君。その調子。
covered the uniquely marked cards with my hands and other cards, arranging them in a way that they couldn't be seen.
角が割れているのは5だったはずです。上がりましたです。
I couldn't let any of those precious hints slip past me. All information is a weapon. And then it was my turn. Satoko fanned out at cards.
欲しいのは7なんだが、これかな。
さてどうかしら。聞いてみないとわかりませんことよ。
There's a bit of dismay in her expression, like she doesn't want it taken. That kind of expression. I won't let that momentary lapse slip past me.
見えた。これだ。
Got it. 7 of spades. A cheer of ooh ran out.
なんですって7は一番わかりにくいはずですのに。
It wasn't from memorizing the markings. Those slight changes in their expression is what I was selecting card were enough.
ほらケイちゃん隠さない。この傷が確かダイヤの2だったよね。あれ
She startled by her own mystery. Of course, everyone else was too.
おー、みーちゃんがカード間違えるなんて珍しいね。
違う。ケイちゃん、あんたまさか。
They told me apart from different marks. That mark was a nail scratch, so I put a new one on it. He's been fucking marking the
ダイ
cards.
ヤの2を偽装したというですの。味な真似をするでございますわ。
He's fucking the fucking
ケ
deck
イ
up.
チ、一矢報いましたです。や
Isn't that cheating though? Clap, clap, clap.
ったね、ケイチくん。大前線だよ。
But my total points is already set in stone that Mion would win and I would finish last. I laughed heartily, selecting the tone of my voice carefully to get on Mion's
ま
nerves.
あビリは確定だけどさ。最後にミオンから1本取れたから大満足かな。
That should be the provincial slap in the face of Mion, who was at the top, already ensuring victory.
この回仮にケイちゃんが1着になってもトータルビリが確定するんだけど嫌でしょ。
当たり前だ。
一騎打ちしようよ。ワンチャンス。勝てたらケイちゃん1位で私ビリの大逆転なんてどう？乗るでしょ。
She fell for it. A chance for an upset that would be possible without goading her into it.
ワンチャンスだと？ルールを説明しろ。
Mion discards 2 cards from her hand and replaces one with the Joker card that was on the table, then shuffles the resulting hand behind her back.
右手のカードと左手のカード
The card in my right hand or the card in my left.
どっちがジョーカーか当てたら
She can guess which hand the Joker's in, he wins.
今後ろに回した時ジョーカーを抜いたってことはないだろうな。
ケイちゃんが負けたら反対の手のカードも公開するよ。それなら OK でしょ。
The other 3 gulped nervously at this unexpected turn of events.
よし
Alright,
乗ってやる。
you've got it. Mion grasps 1 card in each hand and thrusts them at me. First, I need to inspect them closely. The card on the right has no distinguishing marks. I couldn't tell which one it was.
どっちだろう。ケイチくん、慎重にね。
ああもちろんだぜ。逆転の大チャンスだ。
Looking closely at the card on the left, I saw a little wear. It wasn't one I had seen before.
あのカードは。
I didn't let that bit from Sadako slip by me. Mion clucked her tongue. I didn't recognize the mark on the left card from the small number that I memorized. I didn't know what the left card was, but I could tell from Sadako's reaction that the card had already appeared during the game. Since it had appeared before, it means it definitely wasn't the Joker.
ケイちゃんは右のカードを疑ってる。じゃあ右にする？右？
The left card definitely wasn't the Joker. If I could trust that theory, then I should be able to declare the card on the right was the Joker. Even without Mion's taunting, the one on the right was the most suspicious. But it wasn't too rash to decide basically slow on her reaction. More carefully, I remember now. That mark, the left card, no doubt about it, the 7 of clubs.
うんきっとクローバーの7だね
And 1, the card on the left was the 7 of clubs. That means the card on the right was the Joker. And just before my hand touched the right card, I froze. The fuck?
さすがミオンだよ。
There was a wave of murmurs among the onlookers at my sudden halt right before I confirmed the right card was the Joker.
ケイイチさんは何を言ってるのでございましょうだって左 C です
へえ、ケイちゃんはどうして右がジョーカーじゃないって確信できるの？
Mion let loose an unexpected question. Everyone else was baffled.
右のカードが何かは俺にもわからな
I
い。
don't know what the card on the right would be.
だが、左のカードがクローバーの7だってことだけはわかる。
じゃあ残る右のカードがジョーカーなのじゃありませんこと必ず左右どっちかがジョーカーという約束でしょ
ああ、左右のどっちかにジョーカーがあるのは本当だろうな。
ケイイチは勘がいいですリカちゃんそれってどういう
つまりさ、クローバーの7はさっき俺がサトコのスペードの7と合わせて捨てたカードなんだよ。
Everyone's attention snapped to the discard pile at the same time. The truth of the matter couldn't be discerned from that sloppy
つ
pile.
まりミオンは捨て札を1枚拾って左のカードに重ねている。つまり
そうかわかった左のカードをクローバーの7に見せかけているんだね
Then, with a glad flourish, I declared it loudly.
ジョーカーは左手だ。
The Joker was the left one. It was an intense moment. That 1 second felt like an eternity for everyone there. Breaking that silence, the first one to speak was Mion.
初代部
Being the
長とし
first
て
president of the club, I've witnessed
私
a
も
variety
さ
of
まざまな
performances.
プレイングを見てきたけど、ケイちゃん、あんたはベストだよ。ベストオブザベストオブザベスト。
It's probably the greatest compliment Mion could give. She accepted defeat, dropping the cards from both hands. My comeback victory. Rika-chan placed her hand on my head and began patting it, congratulating me on my victory.
リカちゃんか
Rina and Sadako gapped at us as if we've seen it
なんだ
ghost.
よレナ。別に俺はインチキしてないだろ。先生堂々と。
リカは慰める時にしか頭を撫でませんの
What? What's the meaning of? At the moment, Randa let out a small shriek.
ケイイチくんこんなことって
ケイちゃんならさ、ここまで読んでくれると思ってたよ。
Everyone froze. No, it was just me.
賭けだった。
It was a gamble.
ケイちゃんがおてんばさんの早とちりだったなら、負けてたのは私だった。
If you had just jumped to conclusions like a little brat, then I would have lost. But it was the answer that everyone was concerned about. He picked up the cards from the losing
ケイ
hand.
ちゃんはさ、この負けを誇っていいよ。
She turned it around. It was the card that proclaimed the victor of the duel. The card under the 7 of clubs. Unbelievable. It was the 2 of diamonds. So she was a step ahead of him. It was a setup behind a setup. If I had just picked the right one without reading it so deeply.
部長、園崎美音の名において、前原圭一、あんたの我が部への入部を許可する。
As I slumped to my knees, dazed, everyone let out a round of applause for the excellent effort I give, despite my defeat.
これにて決着。本日の優勝は私、園崎美音。栄えあるビリは前原圭一。
Everyone made a commotion, applauding cheerfully. I felt I was bested, but I was so soundly beaten that it was unexpectedly felt rather than refreshing.
みーちゃんが後ろ手で細工した時、またやるんだって思ってドキドキしちゃった。圭一さんが正解に触れる直前で止まった時にはかかったって思いましたわ。見事に引っかかってくれましたです。
Huh? Hey, wait. All of them knew from the start and still got excited so earnestly?
楽しくなるようにみんなで盛り上げましたですよ。
You.
お前らみんな鬼だー。人手なし
This is like watching an anime.
さて、ケイちゃんに罰ゲームだね。今日は部活の初日だしね。ソフトに行こうかね。いきなり登校拒否になられちゃ困るし。
The other three held down my arms and shoulders firmly. What the hell's she gonna do to me? Neon approached, licking her lips. Her right hand went to pull something out of her pocket. It's a felt tip marker, and it's a giant permanent one. Oh shit.
さて、行くよ。
She took the cap off the marker and brought it slowly up to my face while I was immobilized.
いややめろー。
I let out my death throes. As soon as the club activities were finished, Rena flew off. Probably so she could dig out that cute Colonel Randy that she wasn't able to take home yesterday. So today it was just me on me walking home together, a rather rare occurrence.
宝の山か。捨ててる連中もまさかレナに感謝されてるとは夢にも思わないだろうね。
Mountain of treasure, meaning that damn construction site from before. Oh right, Mion would probably tell me. That murder by dismemberment that seemed to have happened here.
あそこさ、ダムの工事現場。なんかあったんだろ昔。
そりゃあったよ、戦いが。座り込みやったりデモをやったり。
It was a bit different from what I wanted to hear, but I decided to listen just the
自
same.
分たちの土地がダム湖に沈むんだもんな。俺だって戦うだろうな。
役人どもは本当に一方的だった。偉そうで威張ってた。金で解決できないと悟ると、あらゆる嫌がらせをしてきたんだよ。いやらしい奴らだった。
Mion spoke excitedly as if the whole thing was happening right in front of her.
よく勝てたな。相手は国だろ。
村長や村の有力者たちがね、方々に陳情した。東京にも行ったし、いろんな政治家に根回しもした。そうしてるうちに計画は撤回されたんだよ。私たちの完全勝利だった。
暴力沙汰とかにはならなかったのか。傷害事件とか殺人。
なかった。
She promptly cut me off, the same as Rena had. Her words signaled the end of the discussion. Tomitake-san said one arm wasn't found in the incident. I thought that a murder by dismemberment had occurred, but I guess I was wrong. My curiosity unsated, I sighed dejectedly aside. inside.
じゃあね、また明日ね。ケイちゃん、それうちに帰るまで消しちゃダメだからね。
わかってるよ、消さねえよ。
I wonder what the hell they drew on his face. Mion held her laughter while stealing glances at my face. I wonder what kind of nasty doodles they drew. Damn you, Mion, you shall rue this day. If our roles are ever reversed, I'm gonna go all out. All over your face so you won't be able to take it all off. Not even with a scouring pad. Ooh. Upon arriving home, I ran straight into my mom, embarrassed myself yet again. The mood I've come home was already on edge. It's not an uncommon thing in our family. Whenever Dad can't come up with a good idea, it always ends up like this. He stomps around the house with his arms crossed. Mom whispered into my
お
ear.
かえりケイチ。お父さん大変そうだからそっとしてあげてね。
またアイデアに詰まったわけ？
今回は締め切りが重なったからね。お父さん充電期間がないと大変だから。
Dad's paintings feed our entire family. If he runs out of ideas, that's the end of the Mabaras. We've never gone hungry before. Could it be that my dad is a master painter?
家の中をうろうろしないで、表に散歩でも行った方がアイデアが出るんじゃねえの？
今回は生活空間がテーマだから。
The theme of the piece this time is in the house.
お父さんこの家をモチーフにしたいみたい。
That's quite a bothersome motif.
ケイチ、部屋の中を少しは片付けなさい。みっともないぞ。
Clean your room.
ごめん。後で片付けるよ。
Oh, come on. Please don't use my room as the motif.
ケイチ、お夕飯までまだ時間があるから。表でも散歩してらっしゃい。
Dad's moods are only temporary. As soon as he gets an idea, his mood improves and he starts humming. Until then, it'd be a bad idea just to walk, or it wouldn't be a bad idea to go out and walk, so I don't aggravate him any
じ
further.
ゃあそうするかな。
I guess he's going out. What are you gonna do? Go? Like I said, I was gonna take a walk, but I didn't have any particular destination in mind. I just need to kill some time. I got my bike and pondered where to go. I could just go read at the bookstore, but it would take an hour or so bike to get to town. It would be dark by the time I got back, so I didn't want to go unless I had to. The roads at night here in Hinamizawa creep me out. If Mion or Satoko ever found out about that, I smiled wearily. Oh yeah, Rena was probably still at the Mountain of Treasure, the damn construction site. The excavation of Colonel Randy was probably gonna take her a while. It wouldn't be so bad to have her owe me one.
次の部活の時に恩返ししてもらえるかもしれないしな。
With a little bit of self-interest in mind, I set off towards the damn construction site. Tomitaki-san might be there as well. The only person with information about the incident that both Reina and Mion denied knowing anything about. If I met him again, I'd like to ask for more details. To ask, was there really a dismemberment here in Hinamizawa? That was my real intention. I spotted Randa struggling up the slope of the garbage pile. It looked like the Colonel Randy was lodged there there pretty firmly. It didn't look like Rena would be able to excavate him by herself. Realizing that Tomitaki-san wasn't around, I began climbing down the slope
よー
unsteadily.
レナ、精が出ますな。
ケイチくん、どうしたのこんなところへ。
A place like this, huh? I see she's aware of that at least.
事故発生の緊急通報を受け参上しました。負傷者はどこでありますか？
事故って
ランディ君人形がゴミ山に生き埋めになっているとの通報でしたが。
なんだ、びっくりした。ケイチ君脅かさないでよ。
冗談だよ。レナが一人で困ってるだろうなって思ってさ、手伝いに来てやったんだよ。
レナのために。は
Somebody likes him. Well, it filled my quota for today. If I don't see Rena blush at least once a day, then I'm not getting my daily required nutritional intake.
冗談だよ。こっちまで恥ずかしくなるだろ
冗談ってどこからだろう、どこからだろう。
I just ignored her with
う。
bewilderment.
俺どいたどいた。で、どこだよランディ君は。
あ、ごめん。ほら、この隙間から見える？
こりゃ本当に生き埋めだな。
The colonel was sideways, surrounded by boards and other construction materials, like they were caging him inside. According to Rena, it wasn't like this yesterday. It seemed another illegal dumper came in yesterday, dumping again, and now he's buried like this.
この山を一人でどけるつもりだったのか？その細い腕で。
There's no way she would be able to do that with her slender arms.
でもランディ君人形かいいんだもん。お店のランディ君には鎖がついてるけど、これならお持ち帰りできる。
She thought about taking the other one at the store? That's fucked up. Fucking klepto. If Rena gave up on this Colonel Randy, she'd probably start devising a plan to steal the one in front of the store. As her guardian, I won't allow her to sully her hands with
ど
crime.
いてろよ。俺がやる。
The pile was enormous. Also, the more days we wasted, the more likely another illegal dumping would occur. If it got buried any deeper, there'd be nothing that could be done.
ケイチ君、レナも手伝えるよ。手伝う。
帰って邪魔になるから下がってろって。よいしょー。
Pulling out scraps, bending them, tossing them aside, I quickly became covered in sweat and dust. Flying objects drew beautiful arcs across the twilight sky, one after another. Lumber, timber, plywood. Damn it. No matter how much I threw out, there was still more, even though I could see Randy right there. After grandstanding like that in front of Reina, I felt frantic because of how little had
本気
progressed.
でやるなら、斧とかノコギリとかがいるかもしれねえな。
If I'm gonna do this seriously, I need an axe or saw or something.
もういいよ、ケイチ君。すごい汗だよ。そんな無理しなくてもいいよ。
レナのためにやってるだけだ。気にするな。
Reina began sputtering and turned beet red. And oops, I mean to say I was trying my best to keep her from becoming a criminal. Oh well.
さすがに休憩。
I guess I just need a break.
こいつは
This
手
is pretty
強い
tough.
ぜ。
I sprawl on my back over a grassy slope.
ごめんね、ごめん。すごい汗だく。
Reina patted her handkerchief against my forehead. It felt pretty nice.
あのさ、ちょっとここで休んでてね。私、家近いから。
My house is pretty close. Okay.
麦茶とか持ってき
I'll
てあ
bring
げ
you
る
some
ね。
barley tea. Leaving the handkerchief on my forehead, Reina took off running. The cries of Higurashi gently soothed the air. After I was certain that Reina was gone, I picked myself up and headed towards what I've discovered earlier. That was a garbage pile of magazines and newspapers bound up in twine. Unless I'm mistaken, I believe it was there. There it is. There's a bound stack of not so reputable tabloids. They were stacked chronologically, going back quite a few years. It was quite a disturbing incident. They still haven't found one of the arms. It was just as Tomitaki-san said. Then undoubtedly there would be more mention of the murders. These are troubled times. There is no end to these sickening incidents. There's a large part of society drawn in by these incidents as well, so it had to be recorded. Somewhere. I unfastened the packages and opened the rain-soaked pages carefully, looking over the table of contents. Not here. Next one. Not here. Next one. It was hard to search since I didn't know when it happened. I didn't even know who the perpetrator of the crime was either. I only know it had happened here. I looked up every so often, checking to see if Reina had come back or not. I wouldn't want her to see me gawking at a dirty magazine, but it wasn't just that. Both Reina and Mion said they didn't know. But if it happened, without a doubt, as long as Tomitaki-san wasn't lying, then if both Reina and Mion, yeah, there was. If they had just said that, then I wouldn't have gotten so hung up on it. An incident that neither Reina nor Mion wished to talk about, trying to uncover it after they tried to conceal it out of good intentions. That made me feel like I was acting against my friends. Hinamizawa, dam worker, lynching, murdered by dismemberment. He found it. Here it is. The featured article was in the back, and it seemed that there was a photograph in colored pages in the front. The pages of the featured article were stuck together and weren't easy to open. Reina could return at any moment. Feeling rushed, I gave up and opened the photograph page. The police investigators were carrying a body bag, and the newspaper reporters were all bathing it in camera flashes. The image was blurry and hard to understand, but I could definitely make out the headlines. A tragic nightmare at the Hinazan construction site. Lynching and murder / dismemberment. The victim was the site foreman. He had assaulted his assailants daily with an explosive backlash from his daily actions. This horrible image to see the site foreman as it happened. It really did happen. It seemed the details were on the next page. I turned the page without pausing. On it was, the assailants butchered the victims' bodies with hatchets and pickaxes, then used an axe to split the cadaver into 6 pieces, the head, the arms, the legs, and the torso. I could understand just from the headline that it was too terrible of an incident. Normally a lynching is just assault and murder, right? Dismemberment with hatchets and pickaxes? That wasn't a lynching. That was a merciless killing to the letter, a brutal murder. Done by a group of people. With hatchets. With pickaxes. With a hatchet? I think he meant an axe right there. What the fuck? That's fucking Reina.
驚いたかな、驚いたかな。
Reina dropped the hatchet he was holding on the grass after being startled by my voice.
ケイイチくんね、さっきほら斧とかがあると便利だって言ったじゃない。それでね、レナ、物置からちゃんとナタ持ってきたんだよ。
Reina fluttered her arms in panic, continued to explain and apologize. It seemed I've been glaring at her pretty intensely.
ごめん。ちょっとオーバーに驚きすぎたかな。
こっちこそごめんね。ごめんね。
Night was drawing close. I was pretty worn out, and it wouldn't hurt to do the rest tomorrow.
最後の針はそのナタじゃないと壊せそうにない。せっかく持ってきてくれたんだし、明日借りるよ。な。
うん。
何しょんぼりしてるんだよ。明日にはランディ君が掘り出せるんだぜ。
そうだよね。早くランディ君をお持ち帰りしたい。
I quenched my thirst with the barley tea Reina brought and wiped off the sweat that had gone cold. We took the path to head home. I felt quite guilty about the tabloid wrapped up in my jacket. Oh, he has a read now. tips of regard. The dam project in a special tabloid report. So let's take a look at this. October 1975. In accordance with the Prime Minister's Bulletin number something, Hinamizawa's electrical development master plan was announced. The vast scope of the project, the dam, was to have an incredibly heavy impact on the village of Hinamizawa. The area to be flooded by the dam would include 5 areas of Hinamizawa, Takatsuro, Kyotsu, Matsumoto, and Yagochi. The submerged area would include 291 houses. Oh dang, that's 120 or 2,000 or 1,251 population, one elementary school, one middle school, one post office, one agricultural cooperative, one forestry department lumberyard, 5 shrines, 2 temples, and 1 fishery. All these communal, cultural, agricultural areas and places of worship were to be definitely submerged at the bottom of an artificial lake basin. That's pretty fucked up, actually. Forsaking the hundreds of years of our ancestors poured in their blood and sweats in this fertile, resource-rich land was just too painful to bear. All the residents having homes that were to be submerged banded together and created the Onikakushi Defense Alliance. The dam project was halted and petitions were to alter the plans were circulated. The citizens sought peaceful negotiations, but the government and its puppet company were openly refused. Performing unspeakable heinous acts, they quashed the democratic actions of the villagers. But the villagers did not falter. Instead, they banded together, even more closely and steeled than their resolve to protect their homes to the death. The continuation of the frightening Hinamizawa Dam construction is still stalled as of today. The villagers understand that the stalling was caused by Saline power through the Unity, and they understand that this fearsome plan had not yet fully withdrawn. The Defense Alliance had been dissolved after it did its part, but the feeling of unity it garnered had not yet been extinguished. As long as that passion resides in the heart of the residents, they will be able to confront whomever next decides to sink their homes into the lake basin. The Defense Alliance Committee Chairman Kichiro Kimiyoshi. What? What about oh, I guess it. Oh, that's the who wrote the thing. Okay, here's the tabloid. Nightmare befalls the Himazawa Dam. Lynching and murder dismemberment. On a day and month in the prefecture of Hinamizawa Dam construction work site in Shishibon City, a bone-chilling, gruesome murder dismemberment happened. Even though this case was shocked the archipelago, the police will no longer give no details on the case. Exactly what happened at the dam. They probably didn't mean to kill them at first, but as the victim resisted by swinging around a shovel, the rest of the perpetrators armed themselves in return, and it quickly escalated to homicide. So said the after-mentioned investigator. After his bloody tragedy was over, they were left with a body which no one could have mistaken as alive. Something had tormented. Okay. The guy had tormented the suspects daily with his rough behavior. At first, it was meant to be payback. All the perpetrators were horrified by their deed, and one even turned himself into the police. It was the de facto leader of the group who suggested hiding the body. Reluctantly, at first, they began to think they didn't wish to be caught. The construction site had numerous places to hide the body with 6 people. They were originally supposed to hide the body and leave the area, but the de facto leader feared the consequences of the other 5 wouldn't be able to bear the burden and came up with a horrifying method to keep them from turning him into the police. He devised the heinous method of splitting up the body among them and making them each responsible for hiding a piece. Blanket turned a simple manslaughter into a gruesome dismemberment and forcibly involved each perpetrator in order to create a sense of unity between them. Each one participated. But what does this mean? A person A spoke out reluctantly. Blank had ordered each and every one of them to dissect a piece for themselves. They were hesitant at first, but no one refused. In for a penny, in for a pound. Was what it meant, sorry. Thus, an unimaginable bloody ceremony began. The perpetrators wept and vomited as they performed the gruesome task. There was one person who stubbornly refused, but Blank threatened them, saying nothing would change if someone else ended up dead, and he gave up on his objections. Damn, threatened him? Even Blank's plan collapsed in the span of one night. Blank, who had refused to dissect the corpse until the last moment, had broken down into tears at the hospital, where he was being treated for an injury sustained during the scuffle and confessed. The criminals were arrested one after another, but the de facto leader, Blank's whereabouts are still unknown. Still, the right arm hidden by him has yet to be found. Despite an ongoing search, this horrible individual has so far managed to elude law enforcement. What could the police be doing? It appears that X had said that he was going to throw the body, right arm, into the swamp. His car was discovered abandoned near the swamp, but there were no clues to his whereabouts. He didn't trust his companions. One cannot deny the possibility that he had expected his companions to confess to the police and use his car as a decoy. Of course, I doubt that theory. Because since he has no car, one would not expect him to have a limited area in which he could have escaped to. But within the station, there were rumors going around that he had actually slipped and drowned in the swamp when he went to throw away the body. To the locals, that swamp is believed to be bottomless. It is known as Onikakushi, the demon's abyss, and it is said at the bottom of the swamp is connected to the hellish world of demons. Whoa, that's freaking superstitious. The atrocious demon from hell that was Blank. Could it be that he returned to hell through the swamp? The Blank Dragon, bringer of good luck and fortune. Prosperous future. Ladies leaping into your arms. Business success. Promotions. Ambition. Protection from harm. Oh god. See, it's that one. This is the funky part that you get in tabloids here. Guaranteed them for your money back. The Zen Dragon Bracelet DX One Piece. It's 27,800 yen. Okay, I think that's it for that. Save it. The function of the schools as an educational facility is very questionable. Our PE class is exceptionally disorganized. The only things we do together are the warm-ups at the start. The teacher isn't even here for that. All we do is play together.
仕方ないじゃん。年齢も性別もバラバラだし。
一応ね、体育の時間は校庭で体を動かすのだけが決まりなの。
All the little kids were gallivanting about. Well, they certainly are being active. They might get plenty of exercise, but
きっと教育委員会はこの学校を見落としてるんだろうな。
お待たせしましたです。
Sorry to keep you waiting. Okay.
さてご一同様、今日の体育は何をいたしましょう。
おっしゃ。これでいつものメンバー全員集合だな。
さて委員長、今日は一体どんな体育をやるのかな。やるのかな。
瞬発力と持久力、スポーツの世界においては仲間などいない。すべてがライバル。信じられるのは己の肉体のみ。
なんだそりゃ、漫画の読みすぎだろ。
I quipped without missing a beat.
ってわけで温故知新。古いながらもすべての要素を詰め込んだ屋外乱戦の王様、鬼ごっこでいこ
What the hell was that?
望むところですわ。のろまな圭一さんは家の一番に鬼ですの。僕だって負けませんです。レナも頑張るもの。今日は負けないぞ。
なんでお前らそんなにやる気満々なんだよ。
う。快速第3条、ゲームは絶対に楽しく参加しなければならない。
じゃあこれ部活なのかよ。
Everyone smirked at each other. They all seemed pretty confident. I'm a man. Physically, I should be able to keep up with any girl my age. Regardless, Mion and Satoko looked like they were aiming for victory, and Reina was looking at me as if pitying my disadvantage.
上等だぜ鬼ごっこ。乗ってやるー。
My yell echoed across the school grounds. These were the rules. Anyone who was able to evade being tagged before the bell is a winner. But we didn't switch who was it. The ones who were tagged by it also become it. So the number of people who were it also increased exponentially. The end game would be a hellish siege. What did they call that?
ここいらではこの遊びのことゾンビ鬼って呼んでるけど
Oh,
ね。
zombie tag, yeah. I've heard of that before.
なるほど、食われたやつがゾンビ化するからな。
なんでそんな怖いこと言うんだろう。
レナを捕まえたら生きたままお腹を食い破ってやるからな。
やだよ圭一くん、そんなのや。
Rika-chan places her hand on Rena's forehead as she panics.
大丈夫です。圭一に食われる前に僕が優しく食べてあげますです。リカ、それは全然慰めになってませんわ。
Both Mion and I nodded deeply.
最初の鬼ゾンビはどうやって決める？じゃんけんか。
一応授業時間だからね。問題で決めよう。問題を出すから答えられなかったやつがゾンビ。
I have no idea which grade level they're coming from.
6は英語で。
What does the Japanese word roku mean? 6? Huh? I was bewildered by question. Mion repeated it.
だから答えるの。6は英語で。
What is roku in English?
6
6.
だ。
なら靴下は。
I don't know that word.
ソックスだね。
アルファベットの後ろから3つ目。
What is the third last letter in the alphabet? X?
X ですよ。
では性別は英語で。
Seibitsu. I don't know that one.
もちろんわかりますわ。それは
Satoko cuts herself off before finishing the answer. I see it's quite a lewd question.
さとこは大人だもんね。知らないわけはないよね。
知ってますもの。知ってるもん。
じゃあ言ってごらんよ。あれだよ、あれ。あれは英語で。
That's fucked up.
はあ、さとこちゃん困ってる。かわいい。
持ち帰るなよ。犯罪だからな。
If I didn't nip it in the butt, she might have tried taking her home. Mion's pursuit was relentless, making Sadako stammer.
さあさあさあ言ってごらんよ、大声で。あれは英語で何という？
知ってるもん。知ってるもん。知ってるもん。だからザットですよ、ザット。
All of us were a bit surprised for Rikan-chan's unexpected answer. I see, well, it certainly is what that means. That could have been awkward. I wonder what I would have done in Satoko's position. I'd probably get ticked off and just blurt out, you know what, at the top of my lungs. I wouldn't want you as an enemy, Milan. Thank goodness you were born a girl. If you were born a boy, you'd probably be a perverted asshole.
仕方ありませんわね。不詳、この北条さと子がゾンビ役を務めさせてもらいますわ。みんな食い殺してやりますですな。100数えればいいんですの
100数えるのはズルするやつがいるからな。俺の問題が解けたら追ってよし。
圭一くん、簡単なのにしてあげてね。
5分の1のケーキと6分の1のケーキと7分の1のケーキを一皿に乗せました。
分母が違いますですの。
ケーキ1個を60秒で食べられるサトコがそれを全部食べるとお皿にはケーキがいくつ残っているでしょ
よーい、ドン。
On her signal, everyone scattered, except
圭一くん、それ問題じゃないよね。
Satoko already lost the moment she started working it out. She's eating it all, of course, there's nothing left on the plate. Everyone dashed out in a different direction that they thought was best. Knowing the lay of the land, they probably headed right for the best spots. It's obvious I was at a disadvantage. At a time like this, it would have been more effective to go along with those trained in survival skills, like Milan, for example. The fact that I didn't realize at the start of the game probably hurt my chances. Glancing back at the school grounds, I saw Sotoko just starting to rise at the start. She was really, really mad. Wow, she got tripped up on such a dumb question. I stood at one of the corners of the school. I had a clear sideline in two directions. It would probably be a good response time if any zombie started closing in. For the time being, I caught my breath and focused on what I was trained to do. I was trained to think during club activities yesterday. Now think calmly. If I was it, what do I do? Increasing my numbers would be the shortcut to victory. Then going after the weakest players first was the obvious plan of attack. Meaning me.
さて圭一さんはどこでございましょう。逃がしませんことよ。
But of course, what would be the best method to track me down? Footprints or smell? Or maybe some type of trail? If I could craftily hide my tracks, there'd be no trail for her to follow. But I was no detective. Would I even be able to do that kind of thing in an amateur game like
どう
this?
見た岡村。圭 イチさんを見かけなかったでございません
Oh,
こと？
she's asking people. What the heck? Do zombies hunt their prey by asking nicely where they went? The kids pointed out the direction I was hiding. After confirming she was heading in this direction, I abandoned my position. It wasn't easy to hide myself with all those little kids running around as they pleased. It was becoming even more obvious that I was at a disadvantage from not being familiar with these surroundings. If that's how it's gonna be, then to confront this intelligence-gathering zombie, I'd have to counter it with a similar vein. I approached some girls playing
すまん
with the
が
ball.
伝言を頼まれてくれ。北条聡子にご両親が校門に来てるぞってな。
伝言いいよいいよ。
待て、まだ行くな。あと園崎美音にもだ。先生が校門のところで呼んでるぞって伝えてくれ。
I'm quite the schemer if I do say so myself. If things went well, then Sadako and Mion would run into each other at the gate. It would put me at a disadvantage if more people were it, but this was Mion we're talking about. She figured a way out to escape, but this was just fine, as long as it bought me more time. Dance for me. In the palm of my hand. He thinks he's making him being smart here. Having my fill of play with the con man, I looked for a place to hide. If you think about it logically, I'd only bought myself a scant moment of time. It might even come back to bite me. Once I became a parent, I'd start spreading false information through the messengers. I hoped to end up being the recipient of one of those messages. Satoko would probably ask the messengers to help look for me. That would be mean. That would mean there would be more zombies than participants in the game. The virus that was brought about by mischief could cause an epidemic. All my classmates would turn into zombies and they would be searching for me. This tactic might backfire horribly. While trembling at the thought of them impeding Dawn of the Dead, I began searching for a safe house. I found a shed by the incinerator behind the school. After climbing up on the roof, I held my breath. It wasn't a bad place to hold out. Not only did I have a good line of sight, but if necessary, I could jump off in 3 different directions to escape. Shit, that could end badly. It was getting rowdy down there. The lower grades were running around below the
い
shed.
ないね前原さん。そっちいた？いない。
Shit, everybody's looking for him.
圭一さんどこだろう？お父さんが校門に来てるのにね。
That was definitely a lie. The word gate, the same one I've used to give hints of revenge. So Mion is behind this. I was still keeping one step ahead of the game. I felt bad for my underclassmen, but they searched until the school
ね
bell.
えねえ、圭一さん知らない？お母さんが急病で大変なんだって。前原さんに伝言だよ。家が火事だから急いで校門に来いって。前原さん家にジャンボ機が墜落したらしいよ。
A jumbo jet fell on his residence?
警察が事情聴取に来てるって言ってた。
The police came to investigate him. Anything goes
趣
now.
味は抱き枕のコレ
They
クショ
said
ンな
he
んだっ
enjoys
て。
peeping into bathrooms? What the fuck?
夜な夜なベッドで抱きながら寝てるって本当なの？
So Chewie goes around every night stealing panties? Who are they talking
ふ
about?
にふにの柔らかい感触がたまんないって。
Mion's probably spreading these rumors. No way I would do
委
that.
員長の写真貼り付けたのもあるらしい
I
よ。
heard Mion was a victim too.
へえ。
This was your doing, Mion. Calm down. This is Mion's battle tactic to flush him out. If my underclassmen thought about it logically, they would know all this is all nonsense. But small kids don't think about things logically. To them, all of these things were true. So they chuckled them all together while looking for me. I win, Mion. It's my victory. Wiping unrelenting tears away, I felt intoxicated by my own
聞
victory.
いた？転校生の前原さんって二次元萌えの人なんだって。
Yeah, the cost of beating me on had too high of a price. Oh, someone passed below. That's Renda and Rika.
リカちゃんはまだ無事かな？なんとか頑張ってますです。みーちゃんも鬼になっちゃったみたいなの。
Mion's it. This confirmed that Mion is behind this relentless message war. Then this isn't good.
兄ちゃんはなんとか巻いたけど、さとこちゃんは。さとこは土管のところを探してますから、ここはしばらくは安全ですよ。
Upon hearing that, I breathed a sigh of relief. While Rena was slumped on the ground, breathing heavily, Rika had started creeping up on her. Rika-chan doesn't normally make noises when she walks, but this is strange. It couldn't be.
リカちゃん、何かな、何かな。大丈夫ですよ。
I've never seen Rika-chan smile more creepily than before.
なんで近寄ってくるのかな、来るのかな。リカちゃんはゾンビじゃないもんね。怖くないです。僕が優しく食べてあげますです。嘘だよね。リカちゃんがそんな。
Rena was pressed against the wall and Rika-chan lurched forward with both arms, just like a zombie. She quaked under with her back pushed against the wall. It was quite a surreal scene of horror, like one of those zombie breakout movies you'd see. At that moment, her eyes met mine. Zombie Rika-chan turned 180 degrees exorcist style and glared at me. Mion popped out from behind the cinder block wall around the garbage dump, also seeing where I was. My position was not only an invitation, so when there was one zombie, being surrounded was not as good. Shit. It seemed that Rika-chan let Rena escape, and now she was burying her fangs in my general direction.
降りてこい、ケイちゃん。
They circled the shed, moaning curses.
お前ら怖い怖すぎる。
ケイチさんの腹渡はどんな味がするのかしら。ケイチさん、ケイチも僕たちの仲間になってほしいです。
誰か助けてくれ。
I saw Rena apologize to me from across the schoolyard. An apology. Sorry. Leaving me for dead. I leapt off the roof in fear, slipping as I landed. They jumped on top of me after straddling. They tickled.
やべやべ。
ってことは、あとはレナか。チャイムまであと何分もないね。
のれんレナ、よくも俺を見殺しに。
The feelings of a zombie. I understand how vengeful ghosts would linger and regrets felt.
かわいそかわいそです。でもこれでケイチも仲間ですよ。
Felt like I've been bitten by a vampire and now one of their thralls. Strange feeling being overwhelmed to the side I pursued.
ゾンビ鬼、なかなか奥深し。
気取ってる場合じゃありませんわ。レナを捕まえるのですの。
校長が廊下を歩いてる。もうすぐチャイムが鳴るよ。
To devour Rena, who had been turned into a demon of vengeance, needed to use any means necessary. Except I wasn't just a zombie. I was master of the night, a vampire. What the hell? I used my classmates to further my eyes. I gathered the lower grades from around the school
みんな
grounds.
聞いてくれ。レナが大変なんだ。今すぐレナを探し出してくれ。
前原さん家にジャンボ機が落っこちたことより大変なの？
Oh yeah, it turned into that. Mion whistled nonchalantly, trying to avoid the
あ
blade.
あ、ジャンボ機なんか目じゃないぞ。レナン地に墜落したのはなんと小惑星だ。
小惑星ですって？
ああ、 まさか俺もそこまでやるとは思わなかった。しかも続いて今度は100個も。地球軍の完
Say
全な
that to
誤
a
算
bunch
だ。
of kids. Sure, a bunch of kids were like would eat that up.
地球軍って私たち宇宙人と戦争でもしてるんですか？
このままでは地球は壊滅だ。しかしレナの放つ音速のマッハレナパンチなら小惑星を全て迎撃することができる。そう、地球軍のトップエース、それがリュウグウレナなのだ。
The lower grade students all gulped. It seemed I made them fully understand the fight Earth was lost without
さ
Reina.
あチレ、同志諸君、
Oh shit.
レナを探し出すのだ。
My comrades in the lower gates let out an enthusiastic cheer and dashed off in various directions around the school grounds. There's still one person who hadn't
で
gone.
もたとえレナさんでも月を押し戻すことなんてできるんでしょうか？
The hell?
心配無用だ。つい先日もレナは地球に激突するはずの水星爆弾を一つ弾き飛ばしている。小惑星の100個や200個くらい、音速を超える高速の。
リュウグウさんってすごいんだ。
Satisfied with that, she also runs off to look for Reina. It does seem like there are some promising up-and-comers amongst the youngsters.
ケイちゃんの才能をおじさんは改めて知ったよ。
It didn't really feel like she was complimenting me, but whatever.
しかしケイチさんもやるでございますわね。これは頼もしいですわ。
でもこの人数なら勝てる。これだけいれば勝てるよ。
ケイチはゾンビに立候補した方が良かったと思いましたです。
Rika-chan's words stung a bit. I'll let it slide for now. Not even Reina could escape the entire class. As a result of everyone's thorough search, Reina was finally cornered in the back of one of the sports equipment sheds.
怖いよみんな。ケイチくんまで怖いよ。
It was probably scary being chased around by an entire student body. All the lower grades closed in on Reina, saying she was the only one who could save the world.
みんなが何を言ってるのかわかんないよ。レナはパンチで小惑星なんか破壊できないよ。
レナ、さっきはよくも見捨てたな。覚悟はできてるだろうな。
さっきはごめんねケイチくん。だって仕方なかったんだもん。おとなしく食い尽くされるでございますの。みんなで仲良しですよ。
さあレナ、念仏でも唱えな。
Reina had stumbled onto a mat, trembling with tears in her eyes. I closed in, associating the situation with a particularly immoral one made my pulse quicken just a little bit. Sadako and Rika were both wriggling their fingers. They probably wanted to tickle her. Reina, wanting no part in what she saw was about to happen, went stiff with fear.
ケイチくんはみんなみたいなひどいことしないよね。しないよね。
さあどうかな。
What the heck?
さて覚悟は決まったかな。
いいよケイチくんなら。
Oh, what? The face she made as she resigned herself to her fate made my heart skip a beat.
ケイチくんはひどいことしないってレナ信じてるし。
Our body won't move. That had to make some sort of anti-zombie mantra. The second my sense of reason chimed in, the beast inside me died instantly. There's the bell. Game over.
やったやったー。わーいわーい。
Rana pranced around merrily as if the curse had been broken.
あとわずかのところで日光が差し、悪のゾンビ軍団は廃人と帰したか。ヒロインが生き残るのは映画のお約束だもんな。
When I was growing up, we just had tag. None of this contagion tag.
何を気取ってるのですの？
And we threw rocks at each other. We did horrible things when I was growing up in the 80s and 90s.
ケイチさんがもたもたしてるから。お仕置きしますです。
I was subdued by Sadako Rika-chan, once again sentenced to death by 100 tickles.
許して
じゃあ生き残ったでしょうは竜宮レナと園崎美音。イエイ。
あれ？みーちゃんゾンビじゃなかったの？
ふりしてただけ。敵を騙すには味方からって言うじゃん。
うおーミオンてめえ
She cheated.
はいはい、急いで着替えないとね。次の授業に遅れんなよ。
離せサドコリカちゃん。いや
Having my fill of being terrified to my very core by club activities, I solemnly swore that I would have Mion crying for mercy next time. What time is it? Ooh. Alright guys, and that's where I'm going to leave it up for tonight. I will be back tomorrow night to play the rest, to play more of this. I've already gotten 3 hours in. There's a lot more to it, so I'm just going to keep pushing through it. So we will be playing more of this throughout the next couple of sessions. So I'll see you guys next time. If you like what you see, remember to like and subscribe. There's a lot of this content that's going to be putting up. Not only anime games, but other games, Dead by Daylight. So maybe some JRPGs later on. And I'm thinking of going back to some adventure games later on in a couple months. So we got a full plate. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. You guys take care and peace out for now. Have a good one.